this level. David Koresh was no different. Jones was no different. You just didn't see it in the numbers.
Yeah.
But they believe what they believe just as vehemently as they do. You've seen it, just not at this level.
Okay. I didn't know. Yeah, see, when it comes to David Koresh and them kind of folks, I didn't know anybody that dealt with David Koresh, and I didn't really listen to any of the words coming from David Koresh. So it's something. Whereas Trump, I'm talking to MAGA every day. I'm hearing from him every day. So I'm knee deep in this shit. So you're right about David Koresh. I just, maybe Charles Manson and some of these other folks, I just weren't dealing with them.
Because it was isolated.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it was isolated. But when we're looking at it on this scale, and when you're looking at the people that are engaged in it, and when you look at like the big, beautiful bill, I wonder what they said to Murkowski. I just wonder what they said to her. We'll never know the private conversations. We will never know the private conversations.
Either you vote this way or else. I mean, maybe they threatening family members. I mean, I'm just going to say I think we all know that Trump operates on threats. I mean, you don't do what he wants, he starts threatening to hurt you in ways. I mean, maybe they threatened her some kind of way.
Well, here's the thing. We do know that people will be threatened. Yeah. We've seen it. We've seen it with Amy Comey Barrett's sister. You remember when Amy Comey went against in that first ruling of the Supreme Court when she voted on the side.
What did they do to her sister though?
And her sister, you didn't hear about her sister getting death threats and all that?
I'm sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, and actually somebody actually physically confronted her sister.
I don't think I heard that part.
Yeah. 100%. So let me ask you this. Do you think this is the problem? We already know that there's no line. So what could I say to you that you would think they wouldn't do? What could I say, Tim?
Wow.
What could I say that you wouldn't believe happened? We just see. Listen, Tim. We are not a month removed from some senators being assassinated.
Yeah.
Or some state legislators being assassinated in Minnesota. We don't even talk about it.
But when you say they, let's be clear. There are liberals that have taken people's lives as well. The difference though is. Trump operates on a different playing field. In other words, I think you're going to get as much pushback from Trump against political violence that takes place that is beneficiary to the Republican Party. If somebody takes a life on behalf of MAGA or on behalf of Trump and his agenda, I don't think Trump is going to speak out much about it. I mean, it was wrong, and he kind of moves on. Whereas we didn't used to be in that playing field before.
That's my point. Earlier you had the video of Michelle Obama when we go high, they go
right,
low, and you said it didn't age well. The problem is when you say it didn't age well, it's because we haven't been in this playing field before, Tim. To your point. But listen, if Trump could tell people to stop and they would actually stop.
Yeah.
He doesn't want it to stop. He doesn't want it to stop. These people are built around cruelty. We got to remember how he talked about how J.D. Vance, who has zero spine, he's one of the guys in the gang that's at the back of the game, right? Like when he did that with Zelensky and you think he would have said those things to Zelensky if he wasn't the vice president of the United States?
Wait. Do I think say that again?
Do you think J.D. Vance would have said what he said to Zelensky in the Oval Office when they met, where he was telling Zelensky that he
didn't say thank you?
Trump
yeah.
Do you think he would have said that to him one-on-one without him being the vice president of the United States with Trump backing it? Do you think he would have said it?
No.
Of course not. He's pussy. And all of them are. But the reason they're doing it is because they're watching people mobilize and do what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of like a mob action. I mean, Trump is in power. His power is snowballing. So it probably is energizing MAGA to feel like we can do. I mean, because we know he got our back. I mean, to some degree, we're on the winning team. So I mean, and they're winning big time. So I do believe it is motivating, if not energizing MAGA to feel like, we can kind of do and say whatever the hell we want because, we got control of everything and we know this guy has our back.
And the sad part is that I keep telling you, you keep using this term winning hella fucking loosely, because we're losing as a country. His supporters may feel they're winning, but as an aggregate whole, we're losing. The big, beautiful bill is a significant loss. And when people like Jeremy or anybody that supports that bill and goes, well, we're losing, if you look at the stats and you look at the economists and you look at the forecast of how many people are going to lose their health care and how many people are potentially going to be at jeopardy of being unalive because they don't have the right care, they don't have the right access to health care and those things, and they just poo-poo that shit. They don't give a fuck about people.
Well,
and Timmy, hold on real quick, Tim. And Timmy, I try to stay away from the comments. He says you never even read it. That's the difference between you and I, my guy. I have.
Well, I will readily admit, after seeing them have the Senate read the bill on the Senate floor, and it took 14 hours, I ain't gonna read all of it. I can tell you that now.
But again, I haven't read every page. I don't have to read. Listen, I've told you this from the time I met you. The foundation of the source matters more than the content. And here's what I mean. If you don't have integrity, if you don't have character, morals, and ethics, I have to question everything that comes from you. And I will always default to safeguard. And everybody does this in their life. That's why these people are full of shit. I will safeguard my own common sense and integrity by listening to what I'm listening to. So when I go to the CBO and read their report, or when I look at the bill and I go to the section and look at the impact, or I look at when it's going to take effect, how many people are going to take effect per state, right? I look at all of that stuff.
Well, but Trump has already convinced folks, because they were talking about the same thing with with inflation and stuff like. Trump has already convinced the right that the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, is false. He's convinced them that they don't know what they're talking about.
I know, and you'll have people in your comments, but then you got to challenge and ask them: Were they reading the CBO? Were they paying attention to the CBO in 2016? What about 2012? What about 2010? That's the problem with a lot of his Trump followers, because they can't have the same stance when you talk about Bush Jr. or Clinton, because they haven't done the research. They're only listening to him, Tim. CBO's been around and they've been impartial for how long, Tim? The CBO's been around forever. All these government agencies with whistleblowers and all these regulations, they're bipartisan for a reason. They've been around forever.
Yeah. I agree with you 100% when you said they're only listening to him. I mean, it doesn't matter what agency, what media outlet, what politician, even if it's Trump's own family, it doesn't matter what anybody says about Trump. If Trump says it ain't true, Trump is right and they're wrong. It doesn't matter who they are. They are only listening to him. I agree with you 100% on that.
Let me say this to you. I'm going to tell you the one thing that I would like to see you do more. Just some friendly feedback. I already talked about the Family Matters dad shirt. But let's talk about this. Make these motherfuckers bring up a source and you watch how fast they change the subject. Jeremy never, him and Mega Reacts, none of them ever sort a credible source. Ever. Timmy, Tim, they never have a credible source. They never say, go to NPR, go to BBC, or go to...
I gotta bring Timmy. Thinking of Timmy Tim, I gotta bring him up because he he believes it some pretty wild stuff. He's always an interesting caller. You talking about sourcing,
Listen, yes, but here's the thing. Look, like he just said, who's credible? CNN. Did I say CNN, Tim? Did I say CNN?
No.
I didn't say CNN. I never say CNN. I don't say CNN because I don't think they do credible work. I don't say CNN but the MAGA believes Fox. So how can you say CNN is not a source, but Fox is a source? But I can't speak to somebody like Timmy Tim who believes Nancy Pelosi's a clone. I can't speak to somebody that believes he believes this shit.
He does. He does believe that. He believes Joe Biden is no longer with us and Hillary Clinton was executed. Yeah, he does believe that stuff.
So he's not even in the conversation. But here's what I'm saying. You have to fall at a source at some point, right? You got to rely on something.
Trump.
We always have. We always have relied on sources. Hell, most people got their news from 60 Minutes 20 years ago. Yeah. Now we don't believe none of that shit. We don't believe anything unless it comes from Trump. But then Trump he's a media source. He's a news source, just like you did, right? You said it earlier.
Yeah.
He is a media source, but we can't trust the media because he says we can't trust them. Because he says, you asked me a tough question. I told you he was mediocre a year ago. I told you Trump is mediocre. You don't believe me. He is mediocre. He does not like tough questions that don't suit. Think about this. If you say anything that challenges him, it's bad. Anything. This is the man that said, this economy, everything good about it is his, everything bad about it is Biden's.
Yeah.
Did he or did he not say that?
I mean, Trump, I've said that from day one, is that Trump takes credit for the good things and blames the bad stuff on other people. Yeah, I mean, that is what he does. It's worked well for him. I understand why he does it. I don't like it, but I understand why he does it because his supporters buy that. If something goes well, he gets credit. If something goes bad, he blames it on somebody else, and then MAGA will go and dislike that other person. That's been working well for him from day one.
People don't understand how bad this is, Tim. Let me say this. Let me say this real quick. You know the term Karen?
Yes.
You remember when the term Karen started, right?
No.
2016.
Okay.
And when did the Department of Justice and the FBI start seeing a rise in domestic tea groups that were about white supremacy and white nationalism?
That same period, 2017, that same period of time.
2016, 2017. Yeah. This is the stand back and stand by guy that people don't want to talk about, right? That said it on national television during the campaign, but people don't talk about it. This is the same guy that said there were good people on both sides during Charlottesville. This is the same person, and they continue to obfuscate like he isn't who he is, and they don't support who they support. I just listen. At the end of the day, Tim, like you like that shirt you got on.
Fuck
right?
you. Why you keep tripping on my shirt?
Okay, listen. This is what I mean by what I'm saying.
All right, go ahead.
We all have to make decisions. If you found out that company that manufactured that shirt was an avid supporter of white supremacy, you got a decision to make. You got a decision to make. Will you keep it? Will you buy again? Am I right?
I would. Yeah, that would make a difference to me. That would be a problem. Of course. Yeah.
But if you like your shirt so much, you will make an excuse for the source to wear the shirt.
Ooh.
That's what they're doing right now. Ooh. They are obfuscating the realities of life just to be connected to something that they really feel deep inside.
Well,
they really feel it deep inside.
Well, what if they're on the side that, whereas white supremacy might be beneficial?
Again, own that shit. And Jeremy, he did say there were good people on both sides. What the fuck are you talking about? Just Google it. Tim, did he or did he not say that, Tim?
Yeah, he did say that.
He said there were fine people on both sides. That's what he said.
I don't know.
That's what he said.
No. Listen, you're going to have people, there's going to be some defenders of the guy no matter what. But Mike, I got to move on. I don't spill damn water all over here.
Last thing I'm going to say to you is this. We are finding, so now the lawsuits are starting for people that were deported illegally. So there's $1 million lawsuit on somebody you didn't see that today?
Why am I missing it? No, I didn't see that either.
Yeah, there's $1 million lawsuit already for somebody that was detained. They were held for 24 hours.
You know, Trump gonna fight that. Trump gonna personally get involved in that to make sure they don't get that money.
Do you think that's gonna be the first?
No.
We're gonna see hundreds of these lawsuits. There'll be class action lawsuits, and you gotta add. And listen, everything that they spend money on goes to the national debt. Yeah. I want you to remember that.
Good point.
Everything.
I think it might be like this. There are some states, I know Kansas is one of them, that has literally placed a limit on how much somebody can sue for when they're wrongfully incarcerated. So you hear about these, like you hear the Innocence Project got a black man out who don't serve 20 years for a crime he didn't commit. They were getting hammered so much because racist policies was leading to them locking up a bunch of people who were innocent. They've actually limited. I think Texas has done that too. There is a limit on how much you can get if you've been wrongfully incarcerated. I think in Kansas, it's like a couple 100,000 or something like that. So even if you've been in there for 40 years, it's limited because they don't locked up so many people that didn't deserve to be in there. So they're like, well, shit, if all of these people get out and sue us, it could put us at bankrupt level or something. So they've limited how much you can collect. I think that Trump may do something like that with the immigration issue.
And that's fine. So that's what they collect, but you still got to go through the court process. You still got the attorneys. You still got the cost of the courts. You still got the cost back to the people. Lastly, you mentioned Elon.
Yeah.
Elon, listen. Trump can say all that. He better be careful playing with Elon because he has resource. He has resource to do whatever he wants wherever he is. They can act like they can deport him if he wants to, but you got to remember, he sat right next to that man. Now Trump is banking on the 30% of his followers that believe everything, but Elon has some shit too. So Trump is doing what he normally does.
I don't think Elon barely has a friend in America right now. If Trump deported Elon, I think both sides would be celebrating it.
I'm telling you, he has information, Tim. I'm telling you. You mark my word. You don't think he does?
Possible, but I don't know who would believe him after what he did with the federal employees and shit.
His Trump staunch supporters, they don't give a shit. It's not about them. They weren't the catalyst in the decision in the election anyway. It wasn't them. It was the margins. I told you that before. All he has to do is expose the shit to the margins. They don't care about his support.
I got to move it on, but I'm just going to tell you, when that man said the middle of Fifth Avenue, I don't care if Elon does have some dirt. If he produces it, I question, when you got control of the Supreme Court, the House, and Senate, I question would anything happen to him at all. I really do. I mean,
you think so?
Yeah. I think that immunity is immunity, man. I'm telling you, I don't think. I mean, the guy could damn near have taken somebody's life, and they'll be able to come up with a reason for why it was self-defense. I don't think Elon. What did MC Hammer say? Can't touch this. I don't think Elon could really hurt Trump. I really don't.
Rockland County, do your research. Rockland County, do your research. What Elon knows and what's going on in Rockland County. You remember I told you that, Tim.
All right. We'll see what happens. Mike, thanks for coming through. Now, what he is saying is that apparently Elon has something on Trump that is tied to that county, Rockland County. We'll see if it comes out in the news if you start hearing about that. But I'm just telling you, that middle of Fifth Avenue shit for Trump, in my opinion, is valid. Listen, we know MAGA. Ain't nothing Elon gonna say on Trump that MAGA's gonna go with. And, once he did what he did to the federal employees and shit like that, I don't even know how many liberals would trust Elon at this point. Because he fired so many people with waste, fraud, and abuse. There wasn't waste, fraud, and abuse. My heart goes out to you, and celebrating with a chainsaw and shit like that. The guy doesn't have a friend in the damn country, I can think. I mean, look, everybody hates Elon. Kind of like the show, everybody hates Chris. Everybody hates Elon. So I don't know what he could come out with on Trump that would hurt Trump. I just don't. I mean, it's pretty easy to make Elon look like the bad guy at this point. And obviously MAGA's going to buy it, and the liberals, most of them would too. Looking in the comments, how many times, what it says, that's right, because of that, I'm doing my best to immigrate from this country. Wow. Has any of you folks actually considered that? Leaving? I talked about this in the previous live, and I asked by way of yes or no in the comments. Yes or no in the comments. How many of you folks have at the very least entertained, since Trump got elected, I'm not talking about some before, but how many of you folks since Trump has gotten elected at least entertained possibly living overseas? Similar to Richard Gere, I think Rosie O'Donnell, Ellen DeGeneres, they're all gone. They've all moved. Elon is a lovely, special guy. So I see a bunch of yeses in the comments. Some of you folks are. I will tell you this. Understand if your fears of him becoming a dictator are realized. Dictators don't let you leave. So if you're concerned that somehow, some way Trump's going to become a dictator, if you really believe that's going to happen, your days of being able to lead this country are numbered. Dictators don't just let their citizens leave because obviously people want to be free. So if a dictator comes in a country and starts limiting freedoms, people gonna want to get away from him, and that would weaken the country that the dictator is in control of. He wants to have as much control as possible. He don't want people leaving and telling other countries how bad he is and telling people about what's going on in the country. So the first thing they usually do is start making it hard to leave. So if you feel that he might be on the cusp of becoming a dictator, you probably need to expedite your plans. I'm just going to say that because that is something they will ultimately do is start shutting off your ability to just come and go. They don't make it easy to do that. Real quick in the comments, by the way, tap the screen, get me on up to 55,000. We'll take the next caller. They don't believe that shit. They're just crybabies, says Geeks. Okay. Ain't nobody got to tell shit that orange sucker already does on the news. King fan, orange sucker. Wow, that's a new one. Okay. He got his 8 and Obama got his 8. Don't know what you mean by that. Dictators stay in power for 30, 40 years. Yeah. Okay. Well, and not always. Sometimes a dictator can stay in power and then they appoint somebody else. Let's say Trump, because the guy is already, 79? Let's say he frames up so that Don Jr. replaces him. And we go with that. Okay, but Don Jr. could easily be in office for another 40 years. I mean, just like Kim Jong-un replaced his dad, Kim Jong-il. So a lot of times dictators pick their successor. So it's very possible. I mean, if Trump is going around the country promoting Don Jr., and Don Jr. starts talking and sounding just like Trump with the same agenda, MAGA would follow him. My guess is most MAGA would jump to Don Jr. Certainly if Trump is giving them his blessing and doing hundreds of rallies promoting him, and then he starts sounding and talking just like Trump, same boisterous bully attitude, criticizing the right people, challenging the right folks, talking shit just like his father, they would follow him. And then he could possibly be around for decades. Somebody said that's what I always thought, says Brian. Yeah, I mean he could definitely promote Don Jr. into that position. He's already on record as saying he's already on record as saying J.D. Vance ain't gonna follow him. He was asked, would J.D. Vance be a good successor? And he said no. So he's already on record saying he don't intend for J.D. Vance to be a successor. Trump can run for vice president. Not legally, he cannot. But with him in control of everything, I don't put it above Trump to try not to change the laws to make it so he can do it. Whatever happened to Biden is too fucking old. Bernie Sanders is too old. John McCain is too old. Ronald Reagan was too. Trump is 79 and people are talking about a third term. He would literally be like, 83, 84? Starting a third term? Wow. All right, Miss Mobetta. I mean, you guys want to put him in here. What are you going to just have him in there? He be in his 90s? Wow. Tim. Good evening.
What's up, Sam?
Not much at all. You know how it is. What am I getting wrong?
Oh, nothing, man. I don't want to talk about none of that bullshit, man.
What do you want to talk about?
You guys talked about some whack ass shit. I just want to give you an update on LA and how we are here right now. The streets are unusually empty. Traffic is the best I've ever seen in my life. There's not many people out and about. It's just been kind of different. I went to East LA on Saturday.
Okay.
And I went to a dress shop there. And the dress shop had a phone number on the door. And you had to call the number to be able to have the people come open the door for you. And it was like private sittings.
Why do you think all that's happening?
Well, they said, I asked the lady, I said, so why is everybody shut down? What's the deal? And she goes, well, we're fine, but it's our customers we have to worry about. So, as a courtesy to the customers, we're allowing them to come in privately, and we'll lock the doors, and they'll be able to do their shopping, and they won't have to worry about being raided because it's locked.
The customers have to worry about while they're shopping, ICE coming in there and raiding the shop?
That's where we're at, brother. That's where we're at. Okay, and but like I said, bro, I've been living in LA all my life, dude, and I can tell you right now, traffic has never been so good. It's amazing, and I can tell you this too. There's all kinds of houses coming up for rent, all kinds of apartments for rent, and that's unusual. It's hard as hell to find any good apartments anywhere. Now there's apartments popping up everywhere. It's crazy, bro. I just had to give you a little update.
Now you supported Trump. Do you applaud this? What's going on? You think this is a good thing, right?
Tim, I'll tell you like I tell you every time. Look at the law, and if I have to abide by that law, everybody should have to abide by that law too.
But you don't.
And
Tim, you don't.
above or beyond the law. Nothing above or beyond the law. And if we want to change the law, I'm all for it. But we got to change it.
But here's the point. When you say if the law is there, I gotta abide by that law too. My response is, but you don't. We actually put American citizens fall in a gray area of laws all the time. We don't tell Americans if you break the law, you're guaranteed to get punished. That people get forgiven by the courts and by the police all the time. I don't know why when it comes to immigrants, I don't care if you broke the law 50 years ago. We got to hold you accountable. We're demanding, hold on. We're literally demanding perfection from the immigrant. I don't care if you got caught.
No, man. No.
What are they being forgiven for?
That's not what I'm saying at all.
That's what I'm saying.
There's a big difference between a law and a traffic violation. That's a coding violation. It's not a freaking law.
I'm not talking about a traffic violation. I'm talking about even people. Let's say you went out and you got caught shoplifting and they put a warrant out for your arrest. And then they find you 15 years later. Oftentimes, they will just let that go. You've been a model citizen. You haven't done anything. We're not going to pay a fine and you get to go. For some reason, with the immigrants, I don't care how far back it is, we're holding them accountable like, you broke the law, you got to pay for it. We don't even do that to each other.
I'm going to tell you a quick true story, okay? This is something that happened with me, all right? I was a manager at a company, and I had an employee. He was my only driver. He drove my big rig for me, okay? He was from El Salvador. When one day he went to his court hearing for his divorce, and he got picked up by ICE. He was arrested because of a law that Obama had enacted that said that up until 1997, that if you were arrested while on a green card status, you were going to get deported for that. Okay? So they arrested him for a crime that he was arrested for in 1995. Okay, this was during, I believe it was during Obama still. It was 2017. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So he got arrested. He went to Atlanta. He was there for about 6 months. I held his job for him. When he came back, he was on parole. He was still fighting his case, so he was still having to go to court and all that. But he had 3 hearings left. Okay, and they were in downtown LA.
What law did he break? Wait. What law did he break?
He was arrested for armed robbery in 1995.
Okay, well, hold on. Yeah, a major law like that, I have no argument with you. I'm talking about stuff like, hold on, I'm going to hear your story, but I'm talking about people who have done things like shoplifting, things that are a lot less criminal. We're holding them accountable for stuff that is 10, 15 years old. Armed robbery?
So at his last hearing, he came to me and said, "Hey, boss, you're my boss at work, and my lawyer's telling me it would help my case out a lot if somebody from work would come and speak for me at court." And I go, "Well, who's going to be there?" He goes, "It'd just be you and all my family." So I asked my boss about it and the president of the company, and she said no. So I told her, "Well, I'm going to take a vacation day, and I'm going to go to court for him. Is that fine with you?" She goes, "What you do with your time is your business." So I did that. I took a vacation day, and I went to court for him. I went and I told that judge, I go, "Look, this guy's no different from me. I have the same background as him. I've been through the same things as him. He's got kids the same times I've got kids. The only difference is that he grew up on one side of the line and I grew up on the other. But this guy's a good guy." And I said, he deserves to be here. He hasn't done anything since this incident but be a good man. They let him stay, bro. They continued his residency because of my testimony. And he was, I mean, the family was ecstatic. But that's a guy who had a major offense, okay? And they still let him stay. And this is during Trump. So I know firsthand that all these stories you hear, I'd have to question the authenticity of them because of that story. And this is true story. I swear to you, Tim, this happened. It was one of my proudest moments. I swear to God, the family was so happy, it was ridiculous. And I felt like I was driving home on clouds that day.
Okay.
But what I think is going on is the law has to be followed. Okay? And yeah, I don't follow the law, speed, whatever. Okay, fine. But you have to understand it's different. When you cross, I know that as a manager as well, I had many who were undocumented. And I knew it because I'm one of them. I'm one of the
Okay,
guys
hold on.
that-
Okay, hold on. Let me get it here. Okay, your story's long. Let me just say something. If we were only getting rid of, as you talked about, an armed robber or a rapist or murderer, I don't think you and I would be having a debate. I would be agreeing with that 100%. That ain't what Trump is doing. He's getting rid of people like the Haitian migrants, for instance. Ain't none of them robbed her. I mean, these are people that are here with temporary protected status, and he just made up an excuse to deport them. So he's one, people that are protesting on college campuses. They haven't hurt anybody. I don't like what they're protesting, so they gotta go. So if it was all about felons and violent criminals.
So you have a problem with merit-based immigration is what you're saying?
No, I have a problem with making up excuses to deport good people and then claiming that there's some kind of rapist or murderer. I have a problem with lying about the nature of people and saying that they're out raping and murdering everybody. He's making it sound like these people are dangerous and they're not.
Well, how do you know?
Because of what they're getting deported for. The Haitian migrants, there's nobody been convicted of rape or murder. They're not. What he's saying is not true.
How do you know?
Because
Seen it? Have you seen it for yourself? Or because that's what you were told?
Because he ain't even claiming that anymore.
What does that have to do with anything?
The man said these were violent hombres. They're not.
Well, he also said the largest deportation, in history.
Okay. The man went from deporting violent felons to, well, you did enter the country illegally. That's not what you talked about. You talked about getting rid of people that were rapists and murderers. Most of the people that deported ain't raped or murdered anybody. I mean, so why would you paint these people out? If your goal is just to make sure people that are in this country are documented and are here legally, then say that. Why make up stories that no? Why make up stories that everybody is here raping and murdering
Come
people?
across the border, it's okay for them to break the law that says that you can't come across the border illegally.
No,
It's okay for them to come across and ask for asylum after they're already here, right?
that was legal,
And it's
yeah.
okay for them to come here and work under somebody else's name and social security number at a company that does e-verify, right? That's okay?
No,
Well, that's what they do, Tim.
you didn't hear a damn thing I just said. Everything everything you pointed out. No, everything you pointed out. All of them people under that category, we can talk about how they need to go. But you don't make up a story that those folks are rapists and murderers. He's using a phony idea.
Hold on a second. Because you guys are crazy about another thing, too. This is another thing. Here's one thing you got wrong right here. I'll tell you this. You guys always say this immigration thing and the deportation thing as if it's just the Hispanics. That's insane. That's just ridiculous. That's a complete...
Let me clear up. Let me repeat what I just said. If you're using an ID to go get a job and it's a fake ID, you need to be dealt with. That doesn't mean somebody should be able to call you a damn murderer. I don't like making up lies on these people.
So if I go and use your credit card and your ID, is that okay?
Is it okay to call me? It's not okay to call me a murderer for doing that, Timmy. That's what I'm saying.
No, but it's fraud. It's fraud. So let's see.
Then call it fraud. Then call it fraud.
It's fraud.
Then call it that.
So now you got a history now of coming across illegally. That was one crime that was broken. Then you got the fraud. That's another crime. So you're already showing a history of crimes that you're going to commit. So we're going to sit around here and accept those two little crimes while you go in and build up another crime and another crime. How do you know that all of them are going to be just the little angels that you think that they are?
So what you're doing is you're calling them. So what you're
manager of people in LA, I could tell you that I personally accepted what I am positive was probably fake.
So what you're saying is because they seem to be committing a bunch of different crimes, I'll just call them a murderer proactively because maybe they're headed that way.
No, because they're. What are you supposed to do? Identify every one of them that are murderers? Come on, you can't just. Well, they're.
Is it? Let me ask it to you this way: is it wrong to call somebody a murderer if they haven't killed anybody? Is that even wrong to you?
It's a part of a group. It's not. It's saying that everyone in the group is that. Come on, Tim.
So it's not wrong. So it's not wrong.
To say that there's murderers in that group, yeah, there's definitely murderers in that group. You're talking about in many different groups. Listen, even from China, the people who want to come here is because in China they're not going to put up with their crimes out there either.
Tim, every single group in America has a murderer among it. There are murderers among the Catholic priests. Every group in America has a murderer among it.
Brothels? How many brothels or massage parlors do you think have illegal Asians in them?
I just asked you, is it okay to call them murderers, even if they didn't commit a murder, and you gave me an excuse why that is okay to do?
I told you that there's murderers within the group that they're talking about.
There are murderers, and I'll repeat, there are murderers within every. I don't care if you're talking blacks, you're talking whites, you're talking women, you're talking priests, you're talking post office workers, you're talking gay. There is murderers among every group of people you can come up with.
About what he said about them. So why are you so worried about that one person? Well, because you're trying to point that out as being, oh, we're just trying to get rid of them because of this and that. Come on, Tim. You're bigger than that, man. That's ridiculous. Look at the truth.
The idea.
Answer my question. How many brothels of massage parlors and all that in every city in the United States, how many of them do you think have illegal Asians that are being trafficked? How many? All those happy ending people, all those people that are just sick with that. How much of that do you think has illegal aliens in them?
I'm sure there's a fair bit. Why? What's your point?
That's a big part of what's being removed. That you should be happy about that.
I'm never going to be happy when you make up a reason to call somebody a murderer that hasn't murdered anybody. I'm never going to be happy with that. I'm just not. If these,
that's not what's happening, and you know it.
That's what you just said. It's okay to do because I asked you flat out: is it wrong to call somebody a murderer if they haven't killed anybody? And you didn't even say no.
He said there's murderers, there's rapists, and there's criminals. And the criminals, believe it or not, Tim, there's a law that says they can't come over illegally. And yeah, it might be a law that you have, over your lifetime, gotten used to just saying, it's no big deal. But guess what? It's still a law. And because they broke that law, it counts them as a criminal, Tim.
Let me.
Criminals, rapists, and murderers, it includes everybody.
Let me ask it to you this way. Is it wrong to say people are eating cats and dogs if they haven't done it?
How do you know they haven't when you got people in Colorado who are saying that they had?
So then how do you know Trump ain't a fucking racist? If somebody called him a racist, well, how do you know he ain't one?
Because Jesse Jackson, Martin Luther, I mean, come on, man. Give me a break. You know damn well that all his life he's had, come on, Muhammad Ali, he had plenty of history to go. Rosa Parks, dude.
So if a Haitian migrant has plenty of pets and he loves dogs, he can use the same excuse. So if you got a Hispanic that loves life, maybe he's a doctor, he can use the same excuse that I'm not a murderer. If the excuses work for Trump, it should work for all of them. If it's wrong to call Trump no.
You immediately go to the race card because that's what you allow them to divide you with.
Let me clear it up for you.
Understand that race is a social construct that you are giving into. You will never be free from it.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question.
Ourselves can free our minds.
Yeah. Let me ask you. Do you think there are any racists at all among Trump supporters?
There's racists everywhere. How do I know?
There you go. So according to you, it's okay to call Trump a racist because there are racists among his group.
I heard heard you talking bad about white people on that.
I'm just simply saying, according to your logic, it's okay to call Trump a racist because there are racists among his group. That's what you just said.
That's what he's doing. I mean, it's the same thing as what you're saying that he's doing about the murderers, right?
I don't know.
You're doing the same damn thing. So how is it any different, Tim?
I don't look. Some of the stuff you say is so wild, man. I just don't know.
Bro, you're calling him a racist, and he's a racist because he's amongst racists and all this other stuff, and he's saying the same thing, and you have a problem with it when he says it, but not when you say it.
You lost me at saying it's okay to call somebody a murderer even when they ain't murdered anybody. You lost me at that. I don't know where else to go with that. After you said that, I don't know where else to go.
What I'm saying whatsoever. Why are you stuck on that, Tim?
Because it is wild.
You need to free your mind of that because you're stuck on the fact in your mind that it's all Hispanics. It's not. It is not.
I didn't say nothing about
Hispanics.
Hispanics.
I bet any amount of money, you never once have stopped and looked at the statistics up to date.
Ain't the Hispanics, what you're talking, that ain't got nothing to do with what I asked you. Is it okay to call somebody a murderer that hasn't murdered anybody? And your answer was not no. I don't care what Hispanic, black, Asian, I don't care what it is.
I said that's not what's happening. If you're asking me,
that ain't what you said. That ain't what you said. I asked you. No.
If it was something that somebody was doing, I would say yes. That's definitely wrong.
Okay. What you're saying is crazy.
If I was accusing you of murder, and I knew you never murdered nobody, but I was accusing you, that would be wrong of me, especially publicly. Okay? But that is not what's happening here.
That's your opinion. I gotta move it on, Timmy Tim. Good to have you. Real quick, what?
Timmy, my opinion? Come on, man. Hey, I just want to tell you happy birthday too, bro.
Thank you.
I got nothing but love for you.
Appreciate it. Same.
You got a bunch of crybaby following. You got rivers of tears coming out, but it's all good.
All right. Timmy Tim, always a pleasure. Thanks for coming through. All right, moving on with the program. We don't agree on anything, but that's how it works. By the way, tap the screen. Get the lights on up to 65,000 before your ass start calling me murderers. Tap the screen, get the likes up to about 65,000. Handsome Major Boo says, Tim, this guy, oh my God, has too many sugar daddies in his ear. Get that wax out. He's trying not to answer you. Yeah, he was definitely doing that. Tim, he wants bad things to happen. Yeah, how did you not? The question was, if a person has not murdered anybody, is it okay to call them a murderer? His answer was, yeah, if they're in the group. You can't make it up. He's giving excuses. He's a radical. Says, hey, yeah, you can't make it up. The answer is no. If the person is in the country illegally, then say they're in the country illegally. If the person is working under the table, violating the law by doing so, say they're working under the table, violating the law by doing so. You don't just get to make up that they're murdering people. I don't understand it. I'm just going to demonize him and take it all the way to the top and call him a murderer. He ran across the Rio Grande and he snuck into the country. Let's call him a murderer. Let's call him a rapist. I don't understand it. You can't make that up. Tim asked your caller if the Trump administration comes after him, is he going to say the same thing? Ask him that. Well, he would have probably dodged it and said that they're not going to come after him. And they're probably not, because he has nothing but undenying support for Trump. Dennis Calhoun, this is coming from a guy who said Hillary was dead. Yeah, my last caller, I didn't even challenge him on that. His beliefs that the Trump administration created a second Declaration of Independence, and he was one of the ones that did believe that Trump was the 17th president of the corporation while Biden was in press. I mean, he believed a lot of the Q stuff. So when I say we go left of Bernie Sanders to him having dinner with Q, he's that far over to that side. We used to talk all the time when Trump was still running for president, and he believes that Trump organized the military and they have executed Hillary Clinton back in 2018. He believes that stuff, and that Biden is long since gone, and I think he believes Jim Carrey or James Woods is the one you see on TV playing the role of. I didn't question him on it, but he does believe all of that. We've talked many times. All right, looking in the comments though, he said some murderers are rapists. He also said some are good. I don't know. Like I said, to me, if I ask you, is it okay to accuse somebody of a violent felony when they haven't done it? Simple answer is no. That's it. No. Well, he's part of a group. No. I mean, it's as simple as that. You don't call somebody a rapist or a murderer when they haven't done it. The answer is no. Real quick in the comments. Average gas price, Trump, $2.57. Please stick to the facts, not your wet dream fantasies. Is the average gas price $2.57 in this country? Where's that happening at? I don't believe that's the average gas price. Bugman, I don't believe that. If you're right, you're right, but I don't believe gas is that fucking low. I'm not going to say under Trump the gas prices haven't dropped a few cents. I'm not hurting with Trump's gas prices. I kind of like the price of gas right now, but it ain't $2.57. Where is that happening at? What's that? What is the price of fuel in your area, folks? $2.57. I see in the comments, Big Wheels, 18, said I haven't seen that, and I'm a truck driver. Yeah, I haven't seen $2.57 either. I see in the comments, Halo Hybrid says $2.80. Jack Ripper says $2.70. $2.57. 3.8. I see somebody got $3.18. Somebody got $2.99. Bake Boss says $2.79 in North Carolina. Look, the gas prices under Trump ain't that bad, but they're not at $2.57. That's just not true. $3.27, $3.20 in New York. Somebody got the average national gas price, or $3.05 to $3.18. That sounds more accurate. $2.57 is not. That's not the average price. $3.24 in Arizona. $2.98. The gas prices are between $2.98 and $3.38. Yeah, that $2.57. It ain't that low. I mean, that's the price under Trump ain't that bad, but that don't mean you get to make up shit and go even further with it. It's not that low. Mr. Mobetta, good evening. Welcome to the program. 265 even in Mississippi. Okay, I don't know what just happened. Don't know what happened. Let me see. Somebody don't complain on the live here. Hold on a second here. Okay, I'm gonna see if we can appeal it. I don't know what just happened. Somebody don't called in and complained on the live. I'll look in the comments while we're doing that. I have seen 250, 270 is the average in Tennessee 2 weeks ago. I haven't seen 250, but if you've seen it, you've seen it. But if you only seen it, it's not the average. It may, look, there may be some gas station in an out of the way part of the country that's low like that, but that's not the national average. You just happen to have an area where it's cheap. That person said the average is 257. Which, by the way, if you say the average is 257, that means there are places that are higher and even lower than that. They averaged at 257. So there should be some 230s and 220s and 240s out there. It's not true. Gas is not that cheap. That's not true. Fuck the average. It's always high in Cali. True. 270 was the average in Tennessee when I looked it up 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 257 is not. Yeah, that's below it. Whoever said that, that's just not true. They let his worker off because Cali is Democratic red state. Would have shipped him off. Yeah. Let me look in the comments real quick. I don't know what happened with my TikTok. You're about 42 seconds behind me. Do you have a fence around your beautiful house? I don't know what the hell that is about. It's not politically oriented. Kevin, you asked Kevin. Like I said, I like to pay attention to comments, but a lot of your comments have nothing to do with the topic at hand. So you can't. Doing it over and over again, what it can lead to is me just deliberately ignoring your comments because I'm expecting you to be off topic. So understand, by doing it over and over again, you start to hurt your credibility. If you're doing once and every now and then it's something funny, I'll read it out. But if you're doing it over and over again, I start seeing your name and I just skip over it because I expect whatever you're talking about to be off topic. Got gas a couple days ago at $3.37. Yeah. Take into account gas prices may go up because of the holiday. Says I heard Gas Buddy said that the price of fuel is the lowest it's been in 4 years. So like I said, Trump's gas prices are not bad, But just because they're not bad don't mean you make up some shit like saying it's $2.57 a gallon. Just call it what it is. Under Trump, the gas prices aren't that bad. Don't make up some kind of superhero shit that's not true. When they start looking up the employer, I might get behind this I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Taking an average while it's always high on the West Coast. Well, I mean, even if you get rid of the highest gas prices are in obviously California, probably the West Coast in general, Washington, Oregon, and California. But taking California, Pennsylvania, if you're an over the road driver like I used to be, you know that places where gas is going to be higher. Illinois has high gas. Pennsylvania has high gas. You get in the New England area, New York and all them, gas prices are high over there. But when you say the average, if the average is $2.57 a gallon, that means there are places out there where the gas prices should be lower. And it's just not. That ain't the average. That's the lowest you can find anywhere. Miss Mo Betta, we'll bring him up on Instagram because I don't know what happened with TikTok for now, but we'll see if we can bring Miss Mo Betta up on TikTok. I mean on Instagram. If it brings her up, there we go. Miss Mo Betta, good evening.
Yeah.
You're breaking up some. Okay, hang on. Okay, hold on a second. I'm trying to see if I can figure this out because you're breaking up. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, all right. Good evening to you. Good to see you.
Hey, happy birthday. Is it your birthday today?
No, it was this weekend. It just passed.
Oh, a happy belated birthday. You was close to mine.
Yeah. Oh, really? You got one that's coming up too, huh?
No, June 25th was my birthday.
Okay, 28 over here. So 3 days later.
Okay.
All right. So what do you think? I think I might be the guest, but how are you liking the direction of this country so far?
It's a mess, Tim. It's disheartening because a lot of his supporters they're into that Stockholm syndrome trauma bonding thing got going on. It's beyond the cult behavior. Because they don't call him out on stuff that you see when you can point the evidence out to them and they still don't believe it. Then what happens is they start attacking the sources. Oh, well, that's media. Listen, like you said, True Social's media.
Yeah, it is.
It's all media. So, like, where are you getting your sources from? You understand? So what happens is Trump will say something, he'll put a word out there, and they take it and run with it. Yeah. They take it and run with it.
What? Let me ask you, how did he? How in your opinion, how did he get that sort of power? Whereas anything he says is generally viewed as the truth, and any criticism against him is generally viewed as a lie. How did he get that kind of power?
I think it started at the top. He has a lot of cronies and stuff that are in power. So the people that actually support him really don't matter to him. All he needs them to keep doing is hollering Trump, Trump, Trump. The people that really, really matter to him are the ones that are in position and in power, and he has them by their balls. To where he's like, of course he's threatening. He comes out of his mouth and says it all the time. You see how he's threatening Elon now, saying, well, we can cancel this and cancel that. But we know Trump is like one of the biggest flip-floppers ever. Even when it came to tariffs, all of that stuff, he flip-flopped on most of that stuff he said.
You're talking about the whole taco thing. But let me ask you that when you say he's a flip-flopper, the taco thing. But let me ask you this. In the comments, Creed says, you're accusing the right of having Stockholm syndrome being in a cult. He said, but you talking about you. He said, but you've only voted for Democrats your whole damn life. But yet you're saying they got Stockholm syndrome.
First of all, he don't know who I voted for. I could have been a Republican the whole time until Trump came into office. Yeah.
Trump has been known to.
You don't know who, but I know when I know raggedy when I see. I'm just saying, I know so raggedy when I see it.
Oh my
Again, there was plenty of things that the Democrats might have done that I didn't like either. You know what I'm saying? So, like, how Trump is running this administration as if he is a mob boss.
Yeah.
And that's in my opinion. So it's like the Supreme Court, I blame them a lot for cutting down those guardrails that would have our checks and balances in place. All of that stuff is gone. He doesn't even respect the Constitution. So when people get up there, mainly the MAGA people, talking about, oh, the law, when your commander-in-chief doesn't follow the law at all. So which law are you talking about?
Well, they tend to think that Trump does follow the Constitution.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so.
And the ones that are out there defending him, half of them people didn't even read that big raggedy bill.
Yeah,
Mike
got me on that. No, I mean, like I said, they made them read that on the Senate floor, and it took them 14 hours to read it. So my guess is
1,100 pages.
Yeah.
It's 1,100 pages.
Yeah.
So, but when they get up on the Senate floor, the Senate floor and read these things, they have to say why they agree or disagree with whatever they're talking about. So that's why it takes them so long to go through stuff like that. Somebody say,
my guess is 99.9% of Americans are not going to read the big beautiful bill. It's just, I mean,
they're not going to read it.
Yeah, who wants to read 1,400 pages of a political bill?
That's a lot of stuff to read. But if you're really serious and diligent about how people are moving forward and what you would see that would affect you, then I would implore you to read it. And I'm not just saying you, I'm saying you in general. Mm-hmm. So, you have to start reading these things. Other than that, I think you should get up here and shut the fuck up. Just say hi or something. You know what I'm saying? Because they be talking out the side of their neck and not knowing what they're talking about. A lot of things they talk with feeling and emotion. They talking emotionally.
Yeah.
Half of them don't even have teeth. And guess what? Y'all can ready to lose the insurance that will help you get it.
Half of them don't have
insurance that'll help you get it.
Well, I don't think Trump is going to make. I don't think Trump is making it so they have health insurance. In fact, the rumors are suggesting he's taking insurance away from them.
That's my point exactly. They talking that bullshit, and he's about to take that insurance that you have. That, like they call it, Obamacare. He always talk about replace and repeal. He had no plan for that either.
But then I'm still trying to figure out if Trump is as bad as some of you folks say. Why can't if you're correct about your description of Trump, why does MAGA see it so differently? I got MAGA saying the guy belongs on the side of Mount Rushmore.
Because that's cult-like behavior. We can't speak against our Jesus. When you're in a cult, you don't talk against your abuser. That's where the Stockholm syndrome comes in.
Wow.
It's more of like I said, the Stockholm syndrome, and the ones that actually get up there and defend it is trauma bonding. That's what that is. Like, and he sells them an illusion. See, he's still running this country like it's his reality show. Very entertaining. He gets up there, he cursing on TV. Oh my God, nobody's ever did that. Oh my God, he has nerve. He said fuck on TV.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, get them the hell out of here. Like, he's so hypocritical till it's not even funny. You talking about immigrants and criminals, and you got 34 felonies and married to an immigrant.
Yeah. Well, they don't believe. Well, first of all, they don't believe the felonies are legit. They believe all that stuff is a witch hunt.
That's because they don't know the law. They don't know how things work. So they don't like, that's minute. They feel that he wasn't affecting anybody else by doing what he does, so he shouldn't have been charged with it. Absolutely not. He's a criminal. They have white-collar crimes, blue crimes, violent crimes. There's all different kinds of crime. A criminal.
Now, I did a live earlier. I want to ask you this because, I go in lives where Black MAGA's there. I like talking to Black MAGA. And
I was in there.
I was told that the black community needs to get off the plantation and realize you're better off voting for Trump. You're better off voting for the Republican Party. Black people need to realize the Democrats do not have your best interests at heart. What say you?
But you notice, Tim, when Blagger says stuff like that, when you ask them to describe what the plantation is, they never have an answer. Describe to me what that plantation is. And number two, you ask them how much difference are you now with under Trump's regime than you were under Biden?
Well, they do have an answer for that. They will claim that under Trump their 401k is up, or they can buy eggs or something.
They're a whole fucking lie. They're a whole lie. And most of them up there, none of them even have 401ks. And I'd be willing to bet my entire 401k on that. They don't have them.
Well, I'm just saying, Black got told you can't be Democrat and Christian simultaneously.
Says the man who was held liable. For the man who was held liable for grape.
Yeah.
He got 34 felonies. He's had how many wives? 3, 4 wives?
I think he
cheated on one of them with the current one. His current immigrant wife that he has now. So again, they could miss me with that Christian bullshit. They're part-time Christians. We're selective Christians. Because if they were true Christians, they would be against even not just and I'm not for the immigrants coming over here just flooding. No, I'm not for that either. However, he's not going after criminals, because if they were true criminals, why were they on the streets in the first place?
Yeah.
So how do you know who is who? So if you're a Christian and that Bible that they so-called read, it says to take care of your neighbors. Those who have more are supposed to help take care of those who are less fortunate. So they need to stop hollering that Christian shit. The matter of fact, that Bible that they claim to read out of, the King James Bible, King James was a gay man himself. So where does this Christianity come in at? Where does it start?
I'm just going to say I don't understand it, because I grew up Christian and it's gotten me so twisted. I've kind of gotten away from it because I'm like you. It doesn't make sense. The activity I'm seeing in this country, based on what I was taught, and maybe I'm just fucking wrong, but this stuff don't look very Christian to me. I mean, getting rid of USAID, kicking out immigrants, I just don't see it. The inhumanity. I want to make sure I get a tax cut, so I'm gonna let you starve. That don't look Christian to me.
Well, see, and again, and I don't know if his supporters are even looking at their bills or what part of the country. See, a lot of them probably live in these red states and stuff like that. They're comfortable with living in a trailer park. They're comfortable with that. We're good. We get our handouts and all that stuff. They get up here. Most of them be lying, Tim. I'm going to just flat out say they be lying. Y'all get up here with this story. Y'all got it. Trump got y'all thinking that he's about to make y'all rich. I done found all this money that I'm going to give back. You don't ever hear him talk about that, but they, for some reason, think that Trump is going to give that money back to the citizens. It's not going to happen.
Wow.
I'm here to tell you, go look at if you're here in like New York and I'm in New York and different places like that, electric bills, all of that stuff is went up.
Yeah.
I've
had callers call. Yeah, I've had callers call in and say that. But under Trump, has the economy gotten any better at all in your neck of the woods?
No, groceries. I went to the store today. No lie. I might have bought 5 things. Cost me like $50.
Damn.
And I didn't buy like top of the line shit. So it's not that. It has not went down. Eggs did go down because they got rid of the bird flu or whatever.
Right.
They stabilized the bird flu. So we all know how that works.
Right.
With that.
Yeah, I don't know why they were blaming Biden for the price. I mean, Biden didn't have nothing to do with the price of eggs. Yeah, but it made.
When Trump said years ago that he said if he was to ever run for politics, he would run Republican because they're slow. And that was on video, and it wasn't an AI, like Linda McMahon called it an A1 video.
Like the A1 steak sauce. All right, Mix Mo Better.
That shit is, you can't make this shit up, Tim. You understand what I'm saying? And I really implore them to go read that bill. That bill is disgusting. I'm sorry, and I didn't finish all of it, but I'm in the process of reading it now. Mm-hmm. And I work for the Department of Energy, so I know how he works, and I know how he did, and I want them to stop saying he's not racist. He is. They're
gonna die on that hill. Miss Mobetta, I gotta move it on, but they're not gonna ever say that. I don't care if he was lynching people, they're not gonna admit that.
Not.
Yeah.
Of course not.
Appreciate
it. Hollering Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton and shit like that. Those are photo ops. We know how that stuff works.
Yep. And that ain't going nowhere. Thanks for coming through. Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. Thanks. All right, moving on with the program. And go ahead and drop it, Miss Mobetta. If you know how to, can you do it? Because I don't know if I can.
Hold on. Let me see.
Yeah, because
hold on.
I don't use Instagram as much, so sometimes there we go. All right, looking in the comments, there is absolutely no evidence there is absolutely no evidence that bill is beautiful. That's what Trump called it. Whoopi's wife is demanding my attention. Gotta go pay and cute with her. Later, make kindness. Okay, I don't know what you're trying to say there. I know what a woman is. Get it? Well, Jack Ripper. The problem is you guys know what a woman is, but you don't know what a war is. We had a few lives when Trump was taking credit for securing the skies over Iran and bragging that we had control of all kinds of, and the right was, well, we not at war. So, and I made a video. I'm like, you're blaming the liberals for not knowing what a woman is. You don't know what a war is. And I had so many folks on the right, it ain't a war. It's a conflict. It's this, and then Trump gets on TV and says, I just ended the 12-day war. So they don't know what a woman is. You don't know what a war is. I mean, Trump, I'm literally holding alive. Got MAGA in the box, swearing up and down, one of my MAGA viewers, swearing up and down it is not a war with what we're doing with Iran. And while he was doing that, Trump released a tweet saying that he had just ended the 12-day war, calling it exactly what MAGA was swearing up and down that it was not. Do you know what a woman is? Do you know what a war is? Looking in the comments, I'll die when I'm ready. Okay, I know what that means. No matter what Trump does, some people with TDS will always complain 24/7. The sickness is real. It's called politics, Gene Schweiss. It's called politics. No matter what Trump does, somebody will always complain. Well, no matter what Biden did, somebody was going to always complain. No matter what Obama did. You got to remember the old videos that featured complaints about Obama because he wore a tan suit. He showed up and he didn't have a flag lapel pin on him. Isn't that ODS, Obama derangement syndrome? Or do we only pretend like derangement syndrome can happen when it's on Trump? Right now, every time you put a microphone in front of Trump, he's still bashing Biden. Is that not Biden derangement syndrome? Or is Trump some kind of way elevated above everybody else and he is incapable of having derangement syndrome? I've done lives on this, and I've asked some of my MAGA viewers, I've asked them, give me your definition of what derangement syndrome is. And every bullet point they give me on what qualifies as derangement syndrome applies to President Trump. They just don't want to say he has it. I only want derangement syndrome to be used when it's used in conjunction with Trump. But if Trump does the same thing, you can't use derangement syndrome on him. That's the mindset. But if you actually list the qualities of what makes somebody, if you list the qualities of what would make somebody be diagnosed with derangement syndrome, Trump has those qualities. He has those qualities. He has derangement syndrome too. You just don't want to diagnose him. Problem is all politicians are same birds of a feather. Exactly, Flame Train CBD. 100% true. If it wasn't for Trump, your channel would suck. Just saying, says Jack Ripper. I'm not going to totally disagree with you. Trump makes politics a hell of a lot more interesting. But there's, we would probably be talking about the P. Diddy trial, or what else has happened. There's been plane crashes we haven't solved. I don't know if it would suck, but it would be more challenging to find content. I've been talking politics before Trump ran for president. I used to call into the, the Bill O'Reilly, not Bill O'Reilly, but I talked to him too, but I used to call in the Fox News talk so much, they ended up inviting me out to the Fox News studios. This was during the Obama administration. So, there's going to be interesting shit, whether Trump is in office or not. But I do agree that Trump, he gives you a million topics. So it's easier to have an interesting conversation with Trump out there because he just says so many wild things so quickly. In fact, Trump has been so wild, I haven't even kept up with the P. Diddy trial much because every day Trump is doing something that's competitive to it. I don't think the channel would suck though. We would just have different topics. Handsome Agent Blue says, MAGA is rat shit. Damn. Yikes. Tim always think about it. Trump makes up wild imaginations, dogs, cats, pigs, and turtles. You can't believe that crazy man. I'm not going to disagree with you. Trump says a lot of things that are not true. It's just a fact. Trump says a lot of things that are not true. But if you lean right, you don't really care, or you come up with a reason for why it was somewhat true. I can't tell you how many people tried to prove that the cats and dogs thing was true and never could do it. We had so many lives on it, and my request was, show me one video that you can prove it's in Springfield, Ohio. You can prove the person is eating a cat or a dog or a duck, I think he said too. And you can prove that they're a Haitian migrant. We've had probably a half a dozen shows on it. Not one person claiming that Trump was right about eating cats and dogs could do that. I started getting videos from places like Cambodia and shit. People were sending me videos where you could clearly see the video was in a different city or Springfield, Ohio. Not one video was sent to me that they could even show me was happening in Springfield. It was in other places. Well, that's close enough. No, that ain't what he said. He said Springfield, Ohio. People are eating cats and dogs. There's no evidence of it. But I'll give a shout out to MAGA. They tried their best to make Trump's lie become reality. Trump could get on, now listen, I've never had a drink in my life. Trump could tell the public that when I'm on live, I'm drunk as a skunk. MAGA would go out of their way to try to prove somehow, some way I've been ingesting alcohol. They would take pictures of my cup. They would tint through AI and put some phony liquid. They would do whatever they could to try to prove his lie to be true. That's what happened with the cats and dogs. Trump said something that's completely false, and then they went behind the scenes and tried their best to come up with a way to make it valid. And they never did. They still haven't done it. So a rich man has bought you out. Isn't that the old joke we established what you were just arguing about the cost of? I don't know what you mean there, big man. A rich man bought me out. Name me who the rich man is, and I would love to know how much money did he give me, because I don't know of any of it. Did he buy me out by not giving me a penny? What rich? I would sure love to hear you explain that. I don't know of any rich man that bought me out, because I don't recall receiving any payment from anybody. So I don't know what that means. Name me one rich man who makes his own product, farms, his own land. Okay, I don't know. I hear they gonna play Christian music at Alligator Alcatraz. I don't know what they're gonna do at Alligator Alcatraz, but you can expect it to be draconian. Just remember, what is his name? Sheriff Joe Arpaio down in Arizona, where he used to have the inmates wearing pink underwear and playing the Disney Channel and feeding them bologna sandwiches. That's literally trying to make this stay as horrible as possible. I bet you they're going to try something like that at Alligator Alcatraz. Just try to make it as horrible as possible. Because MAGA loves that shit. You know, my guess is if they could toss one of the immigrants on the side of the island and let a couple alligators devour the immigrant on camera, MAGA would probably pay pay-per-view to see that and would be cheering and smile. I got some folks out here that are really like into. They're Christians, by the way, just into enjoying misery. So, I mean, when Trump starts talking about if you leave the island, you could be eaten by alligators and shit like that, they loved it. When he talked about reopening Alcatraz and how people got bit by sharks, they like that stuff. They like it. You know, remember the old Life cereal commercial? Hey MAGA, he likes it. What was it, Mikey? Hey Mikey, with his kid says, hey MAGA, he likes it. I don't know, they like that stuff. This is what happens, and I talked about this during the campaign, of what can happen when you dehumanize folks. Remember the vermin and poison in the blood of this country? If you got vermin in your house, you don't care about extinguisher coming in your house and killing vermin, right? I really believe that Trump's language, the rapists and murderers, poison in the blood, I mean, his language has made it so people don't care about him. You know, if one of them die, they die. MAGA reacts. Good evening.
Hey man, what's going on?
Not much at all, man. I got told that black people would be better off if we voted for the Republican Party and we need to leave the Democrat plantation. I'm assuming you might agree?
1,000%.
How would Trump, for somebody like me, how would my life be better off if I left the Democrats and voted for Trump?
I mean, just in general, I think things would be better because Trump tries to, he's not really, he doesn't get on there. I mean, he tries to take credit for when black people are doing good, but he never goes on there like, oh, I'm doing this to help black people, except for when he's, let me take that back, because he does when he, with the HBCUs and stuff like that. But in general, he just tries to make sure our economy's good, which helps everybody. And everything's, I don't know, I think he's been doing really good lately. Everything's been going his way. He just signed the 60-day Gaza ceasefire again, which, you know, just telling Israel to stop fucking killing people in Gaza.
Well, I will say this, it's a difference between doing things good and everything going your way. You could be doing bad shit and still have everything going your way. So I don't just automatically say that because everything's going his way, it means he's doing good stuff. I mean, we're at a point where the Republican Party is not going to put up a lot of resistance to Trump no matter what he does. I mean, you got people at their town halls telling them, you can't vote for this big, beautiful bill because it's going to cut me off Medicaid, and they did it anyway. So they're going to support Trump whether what he's doing is good or not. So things are going to go his way, but that don't mean what he's doing is good.
I mean, listen, we've been signing bad bills for like 20 years now. Like, it's the only way to get anything through this damn Congress. It's our stupid system. I really don't blame Trump for that. You know?
So because we've been signing bad bills regardless, just go ahead and sign another one, huh?
I don't know how else to do it. Because once the Democrats get back in, it's going to be another bad bill. You know? Unlike fucking Biden, it's at least been a while since the last bad bill. You know, Biden signed one right after Trump, where this time it's been like a year or two since we had a really bad one.
Well, speaking of bad bills, what is your opinion on the big, beautiful bill? Do you think it's big and beautiful?
No, I think it's big and bloated. I hate it. And wow. I don't even think it's going to pass. There's people in your chat saying it might not pass.
I don't know.
So,
I mean,
I do hate it. I'm not going to say I like it. I guess I'm a fiscal conservative, you know, but I also realize our economy has been surviving. It's been surviving on bubbles and bad bills since since 2000. It was always one bubble after another, whether the internet bubble, real estate bubble, whatever bubble. And then now it's the bad bills that are funding the economy. The government just, you know, shooting money into the economy to keep us going. So
but you're making it sound like things are going great, but you're admitting that you don't like the bill Trump is passing. So things are not going great.
Well, but these things are the status quo. These things are not Trump's fault. That's just the status quo. That's how we've been for 20 or 30 years. since we stopped
What,
producing.
what do you mean? You're saying the big beautiful bill is a status quo, so he ain't doing nothing no different than anybody else?
Yeah, he's just playing the game as it was put in front of him.
Where are you
He's
getting
playing
this?
the game better than most people. I give him that.
Well, if he's destroying the economy, he's no better than anybody else you might not like.
I don't want to say he's destroying the economy. He's just playing with the rules that were set forth.
Why, let me ask you too. Let me present it this way. Why don't you, as somebody who supported Trump, your name is MAGA Reacts, why don't you like the big beautiful bill?
Because it's against everything he ran for. It's big, it's bloated, there's no Doge cuts. I mean, why? Yeah, you want me to keep going? I mean, you're supposed to cut a lot of fat and...
Hold on one second. I seen the comments. Big Dog, Big Beard says, MAGA ain't shit. He says, you ain't gotta boot me off, Tim. You don't get booted off this show. You gotta do a hell of a lot to boot it off, really? I haven't booted anybody off the show in months.
I tried to join TikTok, I couldn't find you.
Yeah, the TikTok app, somebody must have reported it. I put in an appeal, I haven't checked it, but yeah, you don't get booted off this show. You gotta really do something egregious before I take you off. We have no moderators, we don't boot people off, so that doesn't happen here.
Yeah, it's the only show I speak on because of that.
Yeah. And because I see somebody in the comments say he's replying to people that aren't in the chat. Now I reply to people everywhere. I got 4 monitors aimed at me, and there are comments flying all over the place. So I catch your. If you support the program, it turns the damn screen a different color. I'm gonna read your comment for certain. But if you just typing a comment in, you're among the hundreds that are going by. So I do try to read what I can. But
you're way better than most people. So fuck whoever was talking shit.
Thank you, appreciate that. So something else I wanted to ask. Now, what you talking about the way you feel about the big beautiful bill? How are you feeling about the Trump administration in general? Do you like the direction this country is headed in?
Yeah, I mean, they keep saying we're like a cult because we all agree with what he's doing, but you know, he's doing what we want. I mean, I want to disagree with him, and I do disagree with him when I don't agree with him, but. Your statement has cult-like
connotations to it. You said we're not in a cult, he's doing what we like, but then you just admitted the big beautiful bill ain't what he ran on. You admitted you didn't like the Iranian war. I mean, he ain't doing what he ran on. You just excusing it.
No, I like if I'm not in his position, and I can't predict the future. So with me, it's all about the results. Even though he's not doing things the way I want, maybe the results will come out for the better, and we'll like the results.
And that's the point. That's why they're saying the code is that he's not doing what you want, but your mindset, but maybe things will come out well. No matter what he does, you're gonna look at it on the bright side.
He's earned some trust. He's earned some trust from his last 4 years and from fighting for our side first. And being such a good fighter for our side, he's earned some trust. I give him some rope to hang himself. Well, he hasn't hung himself yet.
How could the guy
give him rope to hang themselves? That's what I'm doing. We'll see if he hangs himself or he fucking comes out on top.
I don't understand how the guy who lied about the 2020 election, lied about other elections as well, not only his own. Destroyed, literally suggested that his own vice president, maybe he deserved to be hung. That guy has gained some trust from you. How?
Because I don't care about all that rhetoric. That's all rhetoric. Most of what you said is just rhetoric. We don't even agree about most of that shit.
That's why people
fight about it. I don't want to get into another one of your black holes. I'm not going to fight about.
I get it. We don't have to get into it, but I'm just going to tell you that's why people are saying the cult stuff is that you're going to find a way to give Trump credit no matter what he does. I mean, this guy's lied about all kinds of shit. Well, he gained some trust from me.
Let's keep it simple. We had Biden before him.
Yeah.
And I know you hate comparing, Trump to Biden, but Biden was asleep most days, working barely 4 hours. This man works harder than anyone I've ever seen in my life. Every day he's making calls, he's on TV, discussing things. He's out there doing shit every fucking day. Like, has there been one day where you didn't turn on the news and he wasn't doing something? So at least he's like fighting and working his ass off. And I'm just waiting to see the results.
Okay, he could be, but keep in mind, Magarias, keep in mind, he could be fighting and working his ass off every day and still doing the wrong thing. I mean, or he could still be lying. He could be on TV every day, way more than Biden, 100 times more than Biden, but he could be on TV telling a bunch of lies. That don't mean, just because you're on TV every day don't mean it's a good thing. If you're on TV saying stuff that's dishonest, you don't get credit for that.
Listen, that's just politics, man. I don't know what to tell you. He's playing the game just like everybody else is playing the game.
Whatever happened to
Schumer, I could say the same shit about Pelosi. They're all out there every day fucking lying their ass off.
Whatever happened to, we voted for Trump because he's not a typical politician. He's going to drain the swamp. Now when he fucks up and lies, you're putting him in the same category as Schumer and Pelosi? My God, is he falling from grace?
The difference is with him, we get good results. And that's all we care about, the results. We're not like the left. We don't pass the security test.
So you only care about the results. So you only care about the results. So he, as long as he's giving you good results, he could lie about anything.
I mean, he's just playing the game. I don't know how else I could fucking say that. He's just playing the game the way the game's played. He learned a lot from his last 8 years, and he's playing it better than anyone else before him.
So you think accusing Haitian migrants of eating cats and dogs is just playing the game?
I mean, he was listening to what the people were saying at the time. It turned out to be wrong, and that's the risk you run by just taking whatever the fuck.
But is he not the king of? Is he not the guy who just listens to people and doesn't verify his source? Is he not the guy that's the king of calling people fake news? The guy that's calling everybody fake news admits, I don't even check the validity of the stories that I release.
I mean, it's fake news because we know for a fact they try to freaking gaslighting us. Well, why is gaslighting such a popular term right now if it wasn't for all the fake news?
But you just admitted.
I tell you, the left was gaslighting our alive, and the economy was good under Biden. Nobody's saying like the economy's good now.
No, they're saying people are eating cats and dogs.
That was a fucking 1 week thing, and he fucking realized it was wrong, and he stopped.
How do you know that? He didn't apologize to anybody.
He doesn't. I guess that's not Trump. He never apologizes.
I'm just trying to figure out when are you guys concerned with fake news? Is it okay? Is fake news okay as long as Trump the one that's doing it? Because that was obviously fake news.
You know why people are not concerned? It's because shit they're saying and he's repeating. Like, you guys always have that backwards. You think he's saying it and we're repeating it, when it's the other way around. He's online like we are, seeing what everybody's fucking talking about, or he's asked people around him what they're doing, and he repeats what regular people are saying online. So it's very hard for us to talk shit about him saying it when we said it first.
So if CNN repeats something that's fake, they should be held accountable. But if Trump repeats something that's fake,
well, CNN's the news. Their job is to fucking. I mean, if they get something wrong at the beginning, as long as they apologize about it and tell us that, hey, we learned. They're the news.
So you're saying that a news outlet should release.
They put themselves at a higher pedestal. They say they're journalists and they play by different rules. That's where this is the other problem with the left. They say, Harris is such a good person or Biden is such a good person, and then get mad that, she's being held to higher standard than...
You're actually, when it comes to releasing valid information, you're literally holding a cable news channel to a higher accountability level than the president of the United States. If they lie, they're a news outfit.
They say that to themselves. They say that about themselves.
He's MAGA. He is the president of the United States.
But he's also Trump. And nobody, says Trump is a fucking source of journalism. No one calls him a journalist. But CNN and all these other people are like, oh, we're journalists. We only tell the truth and all this shit. All the Democrats is like, oh, we're honest. We only say this, and that. You guys put, he doesn't sell himself as like an honest fucking journalist. He sells himself as a politician that's trying to get shit done.
You said, what do you mean? Wait, you said, what do you mean he doesn't sell? You said he don't sell himself as an honest person, huh?
I mean, he's honest to what he knows.
What
He's
is
not a fucking journalist.
what is this? What the, can you read what this? Can you read what this hat says?
No, I can't. Instagram's not the same.
Okay.
I could go to the other room and watch your YouTube.
This hat says Trump was right about everything. If the guy is lying all the time, the fucking hat is wrong.
Yeah, this is the problem. He says so much shit, and you like highlight all the shit he gets wrong, but he also gets a lot of shit right.
So does CNN.
He talks so much shit that you're right. Half of it is wrong, but half of it is also right, and he gets more right than fucking Democrats.
I don't understand. I don't understand how a man who lies and gets so many things wrong has the right to go around calling news outlets fake news. That doesn't make any. If you're going to call people fake news, then make sure at least what you say is not fake.
Look, he says what he thinks is the truth at the time.
Maybe CNN does the same thing.
Until we find out better.
Maybe
you have hindsight. You're judging him using hindsight. He's just going off whatever until it's proven wrong. But like I said, we care about the results. I don't know how many times I can say that. The results really matter to us more than you guys.
Okay. Fake news clearly matters to you because you talk about it all the time. You're just okay with it when he releases it.
No, because when fucking CNN gives us fake news, we find out they're trying to gaslight us into fucking thinking Biden's healthy or any of the million things they gaslight us about.
But you don't see gaslighting by saying people are eating cats and dogs.
No, it's again he copied. This was on fucking what's it called? This was on X way before he said it. It's not like he was. You saw the same video I saw of a lady eating a cat, the homeless lady in Ohio. I know it wasn't Springfield, but it was Ohio. And I know she wasn't Haitian, but it was a black lady eating a cat. Do you believe the president should have the same video?
Do you believe the president should have any responsibility to make sure the stuff he is telling people is true?
Again, his job's not to be a journalist. His job is to listen to the people and do what they want.
It's his job to be truthful.
No. Why is his job to be truthful? He's not a journalist. I mean, I said that several times. His job is to listen to the people and do what they want as our leader.
So because he's the president and not a journalist, he doesn't even have the responsibility of being honest.
Well, he's got the responsibility not to try to deceive people. So, because your level of honesty is weird. I mean, you say, exaggerating is lying. You say, you judge him using hindsight. We find out something isn't true after, but when we didn't know it was true and he said it, you're like, oh, he lied, but we didn't know it was true when he said it.
Let me clear it up. Now we don't get into these spats if he verifies that his source is being accurate before he releases it to the public. When he talked about the Haitian migrants, for instance, all he had to do was have one of his assistants go out and verify that before releasing that to the public. You're saying you don't even have the
time machine. He would need a time machine to travel to the future to make sure nothing comes out later to counter what he said. He would need a time machine to go to the future and make sure everything he says is true. Because at the rate information comes out, hell, I mean, even you have problems figuring out what's true and what's not.
Let me just say this to you before I move on, because all of my lives they end up getting stored on YouTube for people to watch later, and I appreciate those who do tune in. I just want to say this: anytime you are wondering in the future why people refer to Trump supporters as a cult, I want you to go back and watch the last 10 minutes of our conversation. You're doing everything that's leading people.
When I spent the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes of this conversation telling you all the ways I disagree with everything he's doing.
You're literally holding the president to a lesser account for being honest in a media outlet. Suggesting, well, he's not a journalist, so he's okay when he lies.
We're debating more rhetoric than actual truth and false. And I
asked you a simple question. Does the president have a responsibility to be honest to the citizens? And you said, no, he's not a journalist.
Yeah, but it's also to the best of his knowledge.
It ain't to the best of his knowledge. It ain't to the best of his knowledge. If I tell you it's snowing outside and you just go and repeat that, it ain't to the best of your knowledge. You just trusted somebody you don't fucking know. Whoever told him they're eating cats and dogs, he don't even know that person. That ain't to the best of your knowledge.
You act like he says that every day. When was the last time he said that? I mean, you get mad when I bring up old shit, but you bring up old shit better than the best of us.
Oh, that's what it is now. It's only a few months old, Magari. He just said that.
It's a year old.
You're gonna tell me the cats and dogs comment by Trump is old, but you guys are bringing up the crime bill and who Kamala Harris slept with, but this is old.
Like, I mean, I had brought that. Sorry, I take that back. I haven't brought that up since the election.
So what is it? You get to pick and choose when we can bring up old shit. You guys are bringing up Willie Brown. How far? That's decades ago. You're bringing the crime bill. That's 30 years ago. What I'm talking about happened less than a year ago.
I haven't brought up half that shit since the election.
What we're talking about right now with the cats and dogs, this shit is less than a year ago.
It's basically a year ago, but it's Trump time. It's been like 2 years in Trump time. I mean, that's the other part. It's only been like 5-6 months. You want us to grade him on his entire presidency.
Trump comments age like dog years. Every year is 7 years for Trump. I gotta move it on, Magari.
All of the years. But again, we're waiting for the result. I really want to come on here and talk about Diddy, by the way.
What's going on?
I think that judge is gonna fucking fry him, because even though he won most of his shit, I think that judge does not like him. Because what the fuck?
Even if the judge fries him and it seems like it's too harsh, I think he can file an appeal or something. Like, because O.J. Simpson got fried. When O.J. Simpson got sentenced in Nevada, it was pretty much a punishment for him getting off in California. So he got fried like that. I don't know. I mean, if they give P. Diddy a ridiculously long sentence, I don't know. Can he appeal that? I mean, yeah. So
of course he can. I mean, these shouldn't be crimes. All that shit, like, they should have charged him with domestic violence or something about hurting his girlfriend. But these bullshit prostitution charges, they should be outlawed. I mean, it's not fucking 2000 going across fucking. You shouldn't. So let me get this straight. The way he got guilty for, if he did it within the same state, it wouldn't be a crime. But just because he crossed state lines, it's a fucking crime.
Yeah.
And he's not running a prostitution ring. He was just fucking paying for some hookers. So if you want to fucking put everyone that paid for some hookers in jail, we're going to have very full prisons. I think he should have been not guilty on all that shit, and they should have prosecuted him for what he did, which is hurting that girl. Because he's a scumbag, but all these charges are bullshit. I didn't like a single one of these charges. Fucking racketeering, because he has an assistant. So everybody with an assistant that hires a hooker is gonna get racketeered.
You know something. One of the rappers, what is his name? Lil Boosie said that. He said, we fly pussy in all the time. Like if I fly a chick in and I buy her a Louis Vuitton bag or something like that. Let's say I'm having a concert in Cali, and and I got my chick in Atlanta. I fly her out here. One of my jump offs. I fly out here to have some fun with her or whatever, and give her a little bit of money to go shopping and send her home. I mean, technically, that's human trafficking. He said the same thing. He was like, we do that all the time. He's like, plenty of people do that. Athletes do that and all of that. So
I do that.
Huh?
I did that fucking 10 years ago when I was that broke. I had girls fly and stay with me, and I fucking paid for their shit.
No.
I mean, are we gonna all go to jail for it now? Because, these laws are made to go after fucking pimps who are sending prostitutes across state lines.
I'm just gonna tell you, because most of my audience is men, but I will just tell you that even if there's some women watching, it's not meant to be insulting, but fact is, the way things are set up, all of us are only one bad accusation away from a rape charge. It's pretty easy for some chick to say, this went this way and I wanted it to go that way and he should be charged for it. I mean, we all are only one, you're hollering at a chick or you're spitting some game or you got her alone and y'all trying to, you ready for some action. You just hoping that she don't make false accusations. I mean,
that's not even a rape charge though. He's in trouble for paying her bills. Because he paid her bills, of his
He
girlfriend.
paid for the pussy. He paid for the pussy. He paid for the
But
pussy.
this isn't like a one-time thing. This is someone that was with him for a long relationship. So it's like almost his wife. I mean, he married people that were with him less time than this lady. And because he paid her bills and they were never officially married, it's fucking prostitution. So anyone who's not married and you pay your girl's bills and you guys have a fight, because the hotel thing was bad, but I know people who fight worse than that, and they're still happily married. And I'm like, shit.
Yeah, for the amount of violence featured in that hotel video, 6 months at the most. I mean, that probably got like 30. She got millions of dollars for that.
Yeah, and he already served like 8 months, so they need to give him like 2 years with time served, let him out early. I think that's fair.
I mean, regardless of what happens to him criminally, he paid a ton of money for the things he's did. I mean, when you get that kind of money, this chick takes a few kicks to the face or to the body, which are completely wrong, and they should be punished for it. But she got, I would let you kick me when I'm on the ground for the kind of money she got. I mean, she literally got generational wealth for that ass beating. I would take that.
But he wasn't charged for that. And he wasn't even charged for bringing prostitutes across the state line. He got charged for bringing his girlfriend across, like both girls that, like if you look at the actual charge, it says bringing prostitute, but it specifically says, one girlfriend's name and the second girlfriend's name, Cassie and Jane Doe or whatever. And so specific to the girlfriends, because each charge is one girlfriend, so he got, not even for bringing prostitutes across state lines, for bringing his girlfriend across state lines because he gave them money to pay their bills.
Yeah. I kind of agree with the way you're wording it. They overcharged the guy, but because he's on video beating up a woman, nobody's going to have sympathy for him. But yeah, he don't deserve all the stuff they threw at him. I mean, I tend to agree with you, but once you're on, just like if you're on TV harming a kid, nobody gives a damn what you're charged with. They don't. You look like a scumbag. But really, dudes do that kind of stuff all the time. You get 6 months in prison or something like that, maybe a felony on your record. That's it. They don't talk about throwing you in jail for the rest of your fucking life for something like that. So I agree with you. They overcharged them.
And again, just like I defended Trump, I'm here defending Diddy because I think Trump's charges were bullshit. These charges were even more bullshit.
You had to try to sneak that shit in there, didn't you?
Hey, I love Diddy, but I also hate Diddy for what he did. That was a fucked up scene in the hotel room. He should be punished for it. But don't charge him the wrong thing because it just, it's going to screw over all of us.
I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I don't think 100% of Trump's charges are bullshit. I think that they may have charged him way too much for redundancy purposes, but I don't believe they charged him with a bunch of shit that he didn't do. Like 100% of those charges, he's innocent of all of them. I don't believe that. I believe that they should have probably just grouped them all into one, but I do believe the stuff they're charging him with, he did it. It just should have all been one charge. They shouldn't have made 30-something charges out of him, but he did that stuff.
No, what I believe is they wanted to get him, and they made the crime fit the punishment. Like the charges don't make sense. They don't have a charge for what he did wrong because the law doesn't exist. So instead of writing the law for the future, they used existing law that made no sense to go after him for both of them.
I actually think Trump got away with crimes that he wasn't charged for. That whole fake elector scheme down in Georgia and things like that. He was in on it. That's for that. Huh?
They don't have laws for that because that's like something that never happened. Like, it's the first time it ever happened.
Yeah, no other president was that scummy to do nothing like that. To have your people go into an election pollster office and pretend like they are who they are not so that they can get access to the voting rolls and information. Nobody else would try nothing like that. That's worse than what Nixon did.
Because elections that close never happen.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how close it is. You can't send. It doesn't matter how close it is. You can't send people in that have no access to certain parts of the polls to get access because you think the election is close. You can't make up people's ranks. You're lying about who you are. You can't. Well, it's close. Hold on. You know what that would be like? That would be like the police charging me with something that I didn't do. and claiming they got evidence on it. So my mom decides to dress up as a cop to get access to the evidence room because the charges were pretty close. You can't do that. You can't get access to the voter polls because it's close.
Yeah, what do you always ask me? What do you always ask me when we talk about the election? Where's the proof? There were some people that took it upon themselves to find the proof, and they got in trouble for it.
The proof is simple.
How am I supposed to find you evidence?
There is no proof is required once you plead guilty to the crime. They all pled guilty.
No, you're missing my point. We're talking about the election. Where's the proof the election was stolen? These people broke the law to find you some evidence, and they got in trouble for it. They were looking for evidence like you wanted, and they fucking got in trouble for it.
You can't, because that's not, you can't break the law looking for evidence and then expect to get a pass for breaking the law. Yeah, I want you to prove, if Trump says he won the election by a landslide, yeah, I want him to provide proof of that. But that don't mean you get to break the law to get the proof.
Exactly. Trump can't get you the proof because he would have to break the law to get you the proof.
No.
And some people tried and they got in trouble for it.
No.
Because those people, that's different from the most of the election issues. I actually agree with the charges those people got because they did break the law. But they broke the law looking for evidence, and you're like, "Where's the evidence?" I'm like, "I have to break the law to get it to you, buddy."
But they broke the law and they still didn't provide any evidence. They still didn't come up with anything.
They didn't get anywhere. They weren't successful, and they were looking in the wrong place. I would have to be opening people's votes and seeing who voted for who.
I'm just going to tell it to you this way. Trump literally did the example of throwing a bunch of dry spaghetti noodles against the wall to see what would stick. He went from the voting rolls, the Dominion machines were fraudulent. Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss are passing around USB drives like they're vials of crack. Dead people are voting. Immigrants are. I mean, he literally came up with every way you could cheat the vote and said the Democrats are doing all of that, and then told his people, now go out and make some of the stuff I claimed a reality. I mean, he had no legitimate reason to claim that all of that stuff was happening. And at the end of the day, he never proved any of that stuff.
I want to say it's all the other way around. We came up with most of that shit, and he was repeating the shit we were saying. Because that's what Trump does. He's on Twitter, he's on X, he's on whatever, listening to whatever people are saying, and he's like a fucking parrot, repeating what helps him out in his fucking current argument. Kind of like I do sometimes.
So in other words, just a bunch of fake news.
It's what the people are saying. He listens to the people. Isn't that a good representative?
Yes.
Someone that listens to the people?
So when the liberals say he's a racist, he should repeat that because that's what the people are saying.
Yeah, but in their case, that's what they're saying. They think he's a racist.
What he is doing is picking and choosing from the people what he already believes and trying to use them as a defense to say, I didn't say it, they did. It would be like if an African American did not like white people, but he didn't want to come out and admit he was racist. I'm just going to play Farrakhan clips all the time. I'm just going to retweet Farrakhan so that way if somebody says something, I can say I didn't do it. It came from Farrakhan. I mean, that's what he's doing.
But it came from everybody. It came from everybody. It came from the people. Again, when the left does it, they're not listening to the people. They're trying to fucking gaslight us. I'm
just going to, I got to move it on, but I'll just close by saying.
I'm fucking pushing. Take care.
Yeah, I just appreciate it. Thanks for coming through. I'll just close by saying this. The president should be held accountable for what he released to the public. All of these excuses he's making up, well, I just heard it. No. If you're releasing shit to the public, you're accountable for what you're saying. You release some, you don't heard some crazy ass dude in West Virginia say some stupid shit, and you just go and release that to 350 million people, and then when you're held accountable, you bring up that I got it from some dude in West Virginia, but then you're on TV calling CNN fake news all the time. You realize how backwards that sounds? How crazy that sounds? Is that he can basically send out as much fake news as he wants, but CNN should be held to a higher account than the president of the United States. Joe slept his whole term, says, listen, I'm not going to argue about Joe Biden. His cognitive ability was obviously a lot less than he was leading on, so I'm not going to argue with that. You're right, and it's called free speech. Well, like I said, if you're going to complain about fake news being used against you while you are simultaneously using fake news against other people, you are what is referred to as a fucking hypocrite. If you have a problem with fake news, the first thing you should be trying to do is make sure you're not one that's doing it. What it sounds like is that MAGA is okay with Trump giving out fake news. They just don't want fake news used on him. This is where the cult talk comes from. You are either okay with fake news or you're not. This whole notion that I don't care what happens as long as it don't happen to Trump, that ain't gonna fly. Either fake news is wrong or it's not. MAGA's back in business, biatches, says Paul Sauce. Trump's been back in business. Trump has real gold, and people are jealous of that. Hell, I'm jealous of Trump. I wish I had his power. I wish I could say and do anything and people would back me up. That's a good point. Who said that? Jealous of Trump? Reagan called, that's a good point. People are jealous of Trump. How many of you wish that you could say, let's say you're married. Let's say you got a spouse. How many of you wish you could do any damn thing and your spouse is just gonna back you up? Even if she walks in and catches you on top of another hoe or something like that. Your spouse is gonna blame the hoe for jumping under you. I mean, everybody should be jealous of a guy like that. Let me be honest with you. Yeah, I'm jealous of him a little bit. Shit. No matter what he does, it was somebody else's fault. And when he does right, no matter who did it for him, he gets the credit for it. Yeah, I'm a little bit jealous of that. I wish I could have that power. Only person I know that has that power other than Trump is God. I wish. I'm just being real with you. I wish I did have that power. If I say that I'm going to become president and I'm going to end all these useless wars that the liberals have gotten us into, and people vote for me knowing I'm going to end wars, and then all of a sudden I get us in a war, and all of a sudden they're justifying the war I got us in, yeah. I want to be like that. No matter what I do, it's okay. He's in that position. So, yeah, there's a little bit of reason to be jealous of him. Trump would definitely satisfy the rich if the big beautiful bill passes. Yeah, I've had both of the MAGA viewers I had on the night, they don't like the big beautiful bill either. And they support Trump wholeheartedly, which makes me wonder, what percentage of MAGA does not like this bill? I don't hear a lot of MAGA speaking favor. They love Trump. I get that. They love Trump. Ain't nothing wrong with liking your favorite candidate. But it does appear as if his biggest piece of legislation that we're about to have come down the pipe, most of MAGA don't seem to like this. They don't seem to like it. I mean, like I said, all of the MAGA I've had on the night, they're not going to waver their support from Trump. They're still going to vote for Trump, but they don't like the big beautiful bill either. The guy I just had on, I think it was, or was it the other? They're agreeing that Trump's big beautiful bill is going to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. They're actually agreeing to that. But they're supporting Trump, so I don't know where to go with that. PB. Papa Bravo, his name is PB, says, dude, you talk bullshit 24/7. Sound like my ex-wife. Let me say this, PB, and thank you for your input, even if it's critical, but let me know, clear me up. Tell me what I'm getting wrong there, PB. I'll read your comment. You don't have to worry about being blocked, banned, or censored on this program. We're all about free speech. So if you think I'm getting it wrong, let me know what shit I'm currently talking. I'm a white woman, and I want no relation to the ignorance you're part of, says, was that Lenora? Said, I'm part of ignorance. Why can't I be the ignorance? Yeah, Leonora. Okay, all right, shout out to you, Leonora. You don't have any responsibility to be part of the ignorance that it makes it so illegal migrants can't get welfare anymore for their anchor babies. You know, if that's in the big beautiful bill, I can understand why people would support that. You probably would have some liberals support that. He said he's saying the big beautiful bill Chris Ward is saying this. In the big beautiful bill, there's a part that makes it so illegal immigrants cannot get welfare for their anchor babies. Well, look, and like I said, there are some liberals that would agree with that. But here's the thing. I guess we know there's birthright citizenship. So currently, all of America's history until Trump came along, if you were in the country illegally, you had a baby, that baby was an American citizen. So basically, the big beautiful bill is making it so that that citizen, that baby, which is a U.S. citizen if it's born in America, he's calling it an anchor baby, so that means it was born in America. That American citizen baby cannot get welfare. So, in other words, if a woman comes over here and she's an illegal immigrant and she gives birth to a child, the big beautiful bill prevents her from being able to get any assistance to feed the kid, any welfare, formula, milk. I don't know if welfare would allow her to get diapers and wipes. You want her to be prevented from getting any help to take care of that child because it's an anchor baby. We don't like it. Problem is, what happens if the kid is, let's say for instance it's a preemie or it's a baby that's not healthy, and is going to be requiring a little bit of care for a while. How does the baby eat? I mean, we don't want to take care of an anchor baby, so the period of time the baby is stuck in America while he gets no food. And I had people say that. Like when they built Alligator Alcatraz, people were in the comments saying, why should we have to provide them beds? Why should we have to feed them 3 times a day at our expense? I mean, this is what happens when you call people vermin and rapists and murderers. People were asking, why should we, when we detain an illegal immigrant, why should we have to feed them? Christians. These are Christians. Why should we have to feed another human being that's in our custody? Just think about that. Think about how that sounds. I mean, just imagine a U.S. soldier has been, maybe a pilot has been shot down, or, you got a prisoner of war that's been captured while we were actively invading another country. How would we feel? Let's say Iran. We just invaded Iran a couple weeks ago. How would we feel if Iran had to capture one of our pilots and said, why should we have to feed him while he's in our custody? Why should we have to give him a bed while he's in our custody? You think we would think that that was a legitimate thing to say? The person entered America illegally, and for their punishment, we should not have to feed them while they're in our custody. All right, looking in the comments here. Trump, we love you. 79 years old, baby, says Henry Wentz. Yes, he is 79. Just turned 79 on the day of that military parade. Jack, first get rid of all those things migrants produced and built your home. Shout out to you. Thank you for respecting our free speech. I give you much respect for doing so and gave you a thumbs up for this MAGA cult voter. Shout out to you. Ain't nothing wrong with voting for Trump. Listen, I got my views on my political views, and I've had some Ask Me Anything political shows. I don't mind you folks asking me questions in regards to my politics. And I ask you folks questions. I'm not a know-it-all, and most of you guys are not either. We can have a healthy exchange of ideas and maybe learn something from each other. Nevertheless, I don't have any issue with people who vote for Trump. There are legitimate reasons to vote for Trump. There are legitimate reasons to vote against Trump. He's not perfect. He's not Satan. Somewhere in the middle. So there's legitimate reasons to vote for him, legitimate reasons to vote against him, which is also why I never gave much credibility to people who say there's no reason to vote liberal. There's reasons to vote for liberals. There's reason to vote against liberals. Unfortunately, we're in an environment where people can't often see the other side. They only see their side is right, everything else is wrong. The big beautiful bill, for instance, is the perfect reason not to like Trump. You got folks who truly support Trump that thinks that's bad legislation. There's reasons to vote for the man. There's reasons to vote against the man. Trump is closer to Satan than perfect. Damn, Mark Scott. Closer to Satan than not. At least I know what a woman is. It says, at least Jack Ripper says, at least I know what a woman is. Got you beat. No, you don't know what war is, though, Jack Ripper. You know what a woman is, but you don't know what a war is. So I don't know if that puts you in a better light or not. I mean, you got the Trump camp adamantly swearing up and down that we were not at war with Iran. And then Trump, in the middle of the conversation, says, I just ended the 12-day war. MAGA was swearing up and down that was not a war going on. Trump is bragging about how we control their airspace, how we've taken out their air defenses, even though Netanyahu was doing it. Trump is on constantly, we did it, we shooting down their missiles and all that shit. And MAGA's like, this is not a war. So, no, liberals don't know what a woman is. The right don't know what a war is. Wait till more people get laid off or lose their jobs. Sassy, yeah. But they'll blame somebody else. I think if you truly support Trump and that stuff starts happening, you'll be blaming liberal mayors of those towns, or you'll be blaming the governors of those states, or you'll be blaming the corporations that took jobs overseas. That is why I said I was jealous of Trump, is that he gets credit for the things that happened good under his watch, and he is able to convince MAGA that somebody under his watch is the reason that bad stuff happened. Even though, this is what I mean. If Trump appoints, he appointed his cabinet. If Pete Hegseth, let's take Pete Hegseth for instance. If he does something good, MAGA's going to give Hegseth and Trump credit for what he did good. If he fucks up, MAGA is only going to credit Pete Hegseth for the fuck up, even though Trump appointed him, even though he would not have the job if it wasn't for Trump. He's only going to get credit when things good happen. When things like Dr. Fauci, for instance. MAGA was criticizing the hell out of Dr. Fauci, even though Trump had the ability to reappoint Dr. Fauci away from the COVID task force. He could have put him back on the HIV task force or something like that. But Trump left Dr. Fauci out in the public forum, allowing him to go on. In fact, Trump was going on TV with Dr. Fauci every day. Dr. Fauci's giving mask mandates and giving orders. MAGA clearly believed that Dr. Fauci didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. Every rally Trump had, MAGA was yelling, fire Dr. Fauci. Yet Trump's going on TV with the guy every day letting him speak, and MAGA is not blaming Trump for that at all. Like, we're telling you to fire this dude. Why the hell are you on TV with him? He gets credit for the good. They don't give him any blame for the bad. I'm jealous of that. Handsome Major Boo says, Tim, happy birthday, Tim. Shout out to Tim Walsh. Did you get my last message because you're ignoring me? The white woman who made that comment earlier, she doesn't know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. No, I didn't see. What is your last comment? I didn't see that, Major Boo. I did not see it. I'm seeing if I can find it. MAGA, I see a MAGA reactions rat shit. I saw that comment much earlier. No, I didn't. Your last comment didn't come through. I didn't get your last comment, Super Major Boo. I'm trying to listen. I appreciate your support. You certainly show the program some love. Your comments turn the screen a different color, so I read anything you send, and it didn't. I didn't see it. I still don't see it. 33,000 jobs were lost in the month of June. I didn't know that, Richard. Who needs Dr. Gaucho when we have bleach? You're talking about Trump suggesting we use disinfectant? Well, yeah, like I said, I do have a little bit of jealousy of Trump from the standpoint that he gets credit for the good, he gets no blame for the bad, even if the only reason the bad happened is because he appointed somebody and they fucked up. They won't hold him accountable for making bad appointments. Okay, Flame, I can't see the rest of that name.
This thing going around backwards, man. Hold on. My bad.
Howdy.
How are you, man?
I'm just hanging around like Jesse Jackson at a Klan meeting. So what am I getting wrong?
Man, you ain't really getting nothing wrong because, look, I'm 45 years old. I have literally voted both ways over the years. And to me, the older I get, the more it seems like both sides are doing the same shit, but they literally try to depict things and act like they're fighting amongst each other when I feel like it's just one big show.
Wow. I thought the notion was we put Trump in there because he's different. He's not a typical politician. He was going to drain the swamp.
Well, there are some things that are different, but at the same time, I don't know, man. It's like that old saying goes, birds of a feather flock together.
So you're saying you're basically saying Trump is no different, sound like.
I feel like all politicians are the same. Honestly, I feel like every 4 years they tell us what the fuck we want to hear on each side, and then when they get in there, they fuck everything up.
Well, he's only been in office for 5 months or so. How do you think he's doing so far?
Man, that's kind of a hard question to answer. Like, I don't agree with the whole bombing thing in Iran. The bill, there's some good things in it, there's some bad things in it, but there's way too much red tape in it.
Let me ask you this: did you vote for Trump in November?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I did this time.
Okay. You didn't vote for him in 2020?
Yeah, I voted for him in 2020 also, but also voted for Obama his first term.
So you voted for Trump though all 3 times, against Hillary, against Biden both times, or against Kamala too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I mean, so you voted for him all 3 times. So, you're not quite happy with what you're seeing at these first 5 months.
At first, I was until this whole thing started, going down with Iran, and then the whole back and forth between him and Elon. It was like 2 children, just back and forth. That shit was stupid.
Well, let me ask you something in regards to.
He needs to stay his ass off of Twitter and just stay working, in my opinion.
But
so
when you say Trump needs to stay his ass off Twitter, you saw Elon purchase Twitter and kind of do the same thing that Trump did with Truth Social. Is it safe to say that the falling out between Elon and Trump should have been predictable? I mean, they literally are the same guy almost. They talk shit. They have internet fights with people. They literally was the same dude.
You absolutely right on that. When you hit the nail on the head, like real talk, they too much alike, and maybe that's why they clash and why they butt heads. They it's like they having a damn dick swinging contest or something.
So, Elon is claiming that Trump is on the Epstein list.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. But I also thought about that too, and I guess in the back of my mind, trying to use a little bit of common sense. If he was on there, don't you think that the left would have released that already and buried him to keep him from getting elected?
I don't know, because I don't think the left realized how far Trump was going to go. And I think if the left knew Trump was going to be the Trump he is right now, I think they would have broke all kinds of laws trying to prevent him from getting in. They just thought, look, he ain't the guy we want. He's going to do some shit we don't like. But he's going, they didn't expect him to be threatening to lock up politicians and some of the immigration issues being so draconian. If my guess is that they might have been willing to see him on the Epstein list and not really go down that avenue, just like in a bunch of other cases, just like, okay, we ain't gonna like the guy, but we gotta follow the rules. If they knew he was gonna be the way he is now, I think they would have broke rules to prevent him from getting elected.
Probably, yeah. Because there's probably people from both sides on that list, honestly.
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point, man, where I've almost, just lost faith in government, and I just, try to pray and leave everything in God's hands and, let the chips fall where they may.
Damn, wow. That sounds depressing almost, man. You're not paying.
It is, but at the same time, it is what it is, because like over say, like, I've been able to vote for, 27 years now. And it's got to the point for me to where it's became redundant, because, all these different politicians, they offer us, well, we're going to do this or we're going to do that. They all get in there and same old shit different day.
Yeah. Well, Trump promised to make us great, though. Trump promised to take us in a different direction, and he was going to make America great again, though.
Yeah, he got about 3.5 years left, and if he don't, then hey, he's just like the rest of them, but only time's gonna tell with that one.
Man, you sound like you. I mean, after only 5 months in office, man, that's not a. You don't sound very positive. He ain't even been in office that long.
No, man, I don't feel positive about it, man. It's been, I don't know, man. Everything's been all over the place, and like, I don't know. He acts too much off of impulse sometimes instead of using his head when it comes to certain things.
Yeah, but you voted for him 3 times. You didn't. You're not just finding that out now, are you?
Well, he's shown it a little bit more this time around than he did his first time in office. First time in office, I couldn't really get a good gauge on it because of the whole COVID debacle that was going on. That's all we ever heard on the news was so-and-so blaming so-and-so for the COVID problem and blaming this person and that person. That's all we heard during his first presidency for the most part.
Well, the reason he's different this time than he was the first go round is he is significantly more powerful. His first go round, he was surrounded by veteran politicians like Barr and Pence and all these folks who knew the law and wasn't just going to let him do anything for his own sake and try to prove the people he's surrounded with now, he's actually smarter than the people he's surrounded with this time, and they're going to let him do anything he wants. They're not going to challenge him at all. The first administration would tell him, sir, you know, as much as I would like to do that, that goes against this amendment or this statute or whatever. This side that he has now, Hegseth ain't going to challenge him. Rubio ain't going to challenge him. They're going to just let him do whatever he wants to do. So he does have a lot more power this time than he did last time.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, because ain't nobody got no backbone to stand up to him. Now, I will give him this. He don't take no shit from other countries. Now, Joe, granted, you know, he was old. We all know that, and we know he was kind of declining. We may have not known how bad he was declining while he was in office. You know, everybody gets old. We all get older.
Right.
But at the same time, man, like, I wasn't sleeping good at night when he was in there because I'm like, man, we in such a bad spot right now. With this man in charge, I feel like, motherfucker, we could just get bombed at any minute.
Yeah, but I don't get how. Okay, I get Biden's cognitive decline. I get the concern with that because they were hiding that. That's true. Yeah. But when you say that, you know, they could be bombing us or whatever, Trump got in office. None of the wars that were going on under Biden has ended, and even one or a couple of them, the one between India and Pakistan and the one between Israel and Iran, new wars have popped up. But the war between the Ukraine and Russia has not ended, and Netanyahu is still bombing the shit out of Gaza. So Trump didn't end any of the wars. He came close to new ones actually starting.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that one. I do 100%. But at the same time, I don't feel like any country's got the balls to mess with us with him in office because he's too cocky. He's just waiting on an excuse just to push that red button.
Is that a good thing?
Well, I guess it could be good and bad. I sleep a little better at night, but at the same time, we don't always have to be the bully, but that's literally the way the United States has been for the past 4 or 5 decades.
Yeah.
We always sticking our nose where the hell it don't belong when we should be staying out of shit and minding our business.
Right, and once again, Trump promised that he was going to be the guy to do that. And he's turned it, yeah, and that's
something else that I don't agree with that he's done too. So I agree with you there. And man, I've been watching you on YouTube for a long time, and I really enjoy watching your show and your podcast because you're unbiased, and that's why I called in too, because yeah, you try to keep everything genuine.
I do appreciate it because typically I'm referred to as a piece of shit. So that's an upgrade. So thank you,
bro. You definitely not a piece of shit, man. I enjoy watching your show. I've been watching for probably 2-3 months now.
Thank you, appreciate it. Well, I'll go ahead and move on and understand my door is always open to you, man. Thank you for coming through. Good talk.
Yes, sir.
Come on back
I
anytime.
appreciate you.
All right, holler at you. All right, moving on with the program. And go ahead, I'll let you go ahead and drop it because I don't know how to. Yeah, there we go. All right, moving in the comments. Somebody said 100% Aaron. Donald J. Trump quote, "We're going to win so much you might get tired of winning." That is absolutely a Donald Trump quote. That quote is accurate with one exception. It ain't we, it's him. He is winning so much that he's getting tired of winning. You ain't winning shit. You know, I'll tell you this. It's kind of like when your team wins the Super Bowl, wins the World Series, or, you know, win the championship, and you go, we won that year. You ain't won shit. They the ones that got a ring, they got a t-shirt, they got hats, they got extra money. You didn't get shit. You had to go to work the next day. You went out and bought yourself a beer and celebrated your team winning. You ain't won nothing, though. That's what's happening with Trump. Yeah, he's winning constantly. The people around him are not even winning. Do you think Elon Musk is looking like he's winning right now? Chances are Elon Musk would be worth a lot more money had he not affiliated himself with Trump. Tesla, Starlink, even the money he wasted purchasing Twitter and turning it into X. He's lost a lot of money there. If he didn't get affiliated with Trump in right-wing causes, he would be worth considerable more money than he is now. Some folks don't even want to fuck around with a Tesla because they're afraid to park it anywhere because the liberals might get their hands on it. If he had have not went political, the liberals, particularly the progressives, will still be buying his cars like they were a status symbol. His cars would be all over California. California would be pushing the e-vehicle mandate at the state level at least, and they would be selling Teslas all over the place. But him getting involved with Trump, it's cost Elon Musk a ton of money. Now, yeah, he's worth a ton of money, and of course he'll be okay. We're not going to argue that, but he's lost a lot of money getting affiliated with Trump. That man has lost a lot of money. I don't know how much his Tesla stock has went down, but almost every time you hear them talking about it, it's going down more and more and more. Obviously, the big, beautiful bill removing the e-vehicle mandate is like a small piece of ordinance to his to his company. Them removing it, I mean, you got a product, you sell e-vehicles, and states are starting to favor some kind of mandate that they switch that people switch cars over and start driving electric. You're gonna make a fortune from that. Trump comes along with the big beautiful bill and makes it so they cannot do that. That is going to hurt Tesla significantly. Not to mention Trump can cancel contracts with Starlink and all kinds of other shit. I mean, he paid a lot for getting with Trump. He lost a lot. And then, like I said, I mentioned also him purchasing Twitter and losing a heap of money by purchasing Twitter. He's lost a lot of money getting affiliated with Trump. And in addition to all of that, Trump is now talking about, at the very least, joking. At the most, it could be serious. But he's indicating, like I said, I'm going to stick with joking. But when it comes to Trump, anything can happen. He's talking about possibly deporting Elon. And then he also talked about sicking Doge on Elon. So I guess he can start finding a lot of Elon's contracts with the government as waste, fraud, and abuse. Just fucked Elon up. I'll tell you this right off the bat. Considering that Elon made a $350 million investment to President Trump, he was also involved in the Supreme Court election up in Wisconsin. I don't know how much he put in that, but that was a few million. He handed out $1 million checks to Republicans to sign petitions. He put a lot of his own money into the Republican Party. And now that party don't even like his ass. Within the span of 6 fucking months. Within the span of 6 months, he went from riding on top to damn near hanging out with Pelosi and Schumer. That has got to be the worst investment in political history, what Elon has did. He put enough money into the Trump administration that he could have probably won a Senate or a gubernatorial race outright. Gotta be the worst investment in political history to put that much money in somebody, and within 6 months, they don't like your ass. Looking in the comments, gloom and doom, gloom, it must be a miserable life. Yeah, It is what it is. And Trump knows how big Arnold's dad bag is. Yeah, he talks about that. Real quick in the comments. Chris Ward is a load of crap. What is that? In 2014, our welfare was $1 trillion, so 63% of 630. In 2014, what? I don't know where you're going with that. That apparently that's a very old comment. It's the greatest investment. No, it ain't. I bet you if Elon Musk could go back in time, he wouldn't affiliate himself with Trump. I bet you he wouldn't do it again. I bet you he don't think it's a great fucking investment. He's gained about $100 billion in net worth since the election, and he paid $277 million campaigning for Trump. Well, Elon has gained about 100. I don't think he gained $100 billion, but whatever he gained, when you got the kind of money that Elon has, it's going to snowball anyway. The point I'm making, though, is that his money would have snowballed at a greater rate had he not been affiliated with Trump. I mean, okay, you say he gained about $100 billion in net worth since the election. He paid 49. How much did he pay for Twitter alone? Trying to allow free speech for the Republican Party so that they can say whatever the hell they want. $100 billion barely covers what he spent just on Twitter. He would have made more money if he didn't get affiliated with Trump. I mean, he's worth so much money that he's going to make money regardless. But when you say he's gained $100 billion, I'm telling you, he would have been gaining a lot more had he not become affiliated with Trump. Tesla, for instance, has taken a major hit because of his affiliation with Trump. Major hit that would not have happened had he not have been affiliated with Trump. So I don't know what he would have gained if he wasn't affiliated with Trump, but my guess is it's a lot more than he's gained since he's been affiliated with Trump. Elon also tarnished his make, which had some pull in both parties, including independents. Yeah, Elon must have. Yeah, even his brand internationally has taken a significant hit. There are countries out there that no longer fuck with him no more because of the whole "my heart goes out to you" and his affiliation with Trump. If you don't believe Elon hurt himself by affiliating with Trump, you just don't want to believe it. I mean, yeah, it hurt him. There are whole countries out there that don't fuck with him no more because of that affiliation. He no longer is being investigated by the Yeah, but that shit, you saying he is no longer being investigated by the CFPB. Well, the problem is with Trump out there, there's no guarantee he won't reopen that. Elon purchased his way into the administration to avoid those investigations. Trump knows that he was being investigated. Trump knows why he was being investigated. He keep pissing Trump off, those investigations will pop back up. He ain't even safe from that shit no more. We know Trump is petty. We know Trump knows what Elon Musk was being investigated for. Trump will get on the phone and call his, what do you want to call it? Whatever the federal organization is, over the federal organization, Attorney General, whatever is the word I'm looking for. He would quickly, if Elon keeps fighting with Trump would quickly call him and tell him to open up an investigation on Elon. So even the investigations that he escaped are not necessarily safe with him getting into spats with Trump. Trump will open that shit up like nothing. Real quick in the comments. Y'all obsessed with Trump for real. LOL, rent-free in your head is hilarious. Jack, that's called politics, man. It's called politics. I mean, Trump continued insulting John McCain 2 years after he was dead. Is that not an obsession? I mean, Trump is still talking about Joe Biden every time you put a microphone in front of his face. Is that not obsession? Is it okay to be obsessed as long as you're Trump doing it? Is it okay to have derangement syndrome as long as you're Trump doing it? I mean, look, it is what it is. This guy must have got tired of narcotics on his meetings. Get a real job or hobby. This live stream is bullshit. It's for kids and women one step away from OnlyFans. Shout out to you, Carlos. I can't pronounce the last name. Appreciate the comment. Listen, like I said, when we say we don't block, ban, or censor, We mean that. We are MAGA friendly. I don't, just because my comments are not always favorable to MAGA, we do let you speak. We don't block, ban, or censor you for anything. We don't have a moderator. We're not telling people they can't say anything. We don't block comments and none of that shit. So shout out to you, Carlos. He says the live stream is bullshit and it's for kids only. Look, you're entitled to your opinion. If I was saying the same shit I'm saying right now, exact same shit I'm saying right now, but I was attacking liberals with it, you'd be cheering it on. You'd be clicking fucking like. You would be loving it. But when I'm saying it about Trump, it's bullshit and it's all for kids. Shout out to you, Carlos. I respect that this channel lets even dummies talk. Richard, appreciate the compliment. Grown men calling another grown man daddy, talking about being a cuck. Yeah, I don't know why. That was a world leader that called him that, wasn't it? A leader of a country that called Trump daddy. And then you got MAGA playing videos of Trump to the Usher song, Daddy's Home. Look, like I said, we can talk about the guy not being a dictator or whatever, but it's pretty clear that MAGA is okay with him being a dictator. I mean, like, I don't know what the direction of Trump is. The guy is 79 years old. He may not even want to be a dictator. We can talk about that in a different live, but I will tell you this. It's pretty clear that if he does want to be a dictator, MAGA is down with it. I mean, he's literally selling Trump 2028 hats, and MAGA is buying them. So whether he wants to be a dictator or not is a different conversation. But it's pretty obvious that if he does, MAGA is 100% down with it. You got Republicans trying to pass a law that allows him to run again. You got folks trying to put his face on the side of Mount Rushmore and shit like that. So if he wants to be a dictator, MAGA's like, here's the keys. Just bring it back before midnight. Boy, I didn't even talk today and got reported. Obviously, your live ain't even showing for me on TikTok. Big Dog, yeah, the live went down on TikTok. I found an appeal. I haven't even checked it. I was supposed to get off of here, but I just been kind of rambling on with the folks. A lot of you folks have been keeping your boy company on all the other platforms. We're on Instagram and we are on YouTube. But yeah, it wasn't you, as Shaggy would say. It wasn't me. I would trade all those people for any foreigner. Damn. Bro, are you a Trump supporter? No, I am not a Trump supporter. I don't hate the guy. I don't think his first term was all that bad. His second term, I'm really not liking, though. I mean, his first term, I don't like his second term for the simple fact that his own party is just like, do whatever the fuck you want. I mean, I got nothing but MAGA calling in tonight. All of my MAGA viewers are admitting that they don't like the big, beautiful bill. They're showing up in town halls bitching to other Republicans that they don't like the big, beautiful bill. And yet, the fear of Trump is so great, these folks will actually listen to their own Republican constituents in desperation tell them how much they don't want the big, beautiful bill. And then they'll go back to the halls of Congress and vote it in because they're that afraid of Trump. That's the part about him I don't support. That is pretty obvious. The big, beautiful bill is unpopular in America. And it's not just with the fucking liberals or progressives. It's pretty obvious that most of America does not want that piece of legislation. It's pretty obvious that that piece of legislation is a play to the wealthy in this country. It's going to do far more for the wealthy than it is the poor. And MAGA knows that. This ain't some bullshit coming from CNN or some fuck off coming from MSNBC. MAGA knows that the bill is the greatest, the greatest division of wealth. MAGA knows it. And the Republican Senate and Congress like, fuck it, we're going to still pass it anyway because that's what Trump wants. He wasn't like that the first term. He didn't have the power to do something crazy like that. I mean, it literally is a giveaway to the wealthy in this country. We're going to chop off entitlements and make entitlements harder to get for the poor. And we're going to hand the money we save from entitlements to the wealthy in the form of tax cuts. It literally is a giveaway to the wealthy. MAGA knows that. They're admitting it at town halls all over the country. And yet the people they're telling it to, which is their Republican senators in Congress, are like, fuck you. I'm still gonna give it to Trump because he wants it. I don't know what else to go with that. It should be called the Big Beautiful Bill for Billionaires. That's what it should be called. You fools hurt America, says Lenora. Well, you know we can hurt America together, Leonora. You do realize that. You do realize we could be, like my MAGA viewer that just came up last. He admitted that both sides are kind of cut from the same cloth. You do realize it's possible that both the liberals and Democrats could be hurting America in different ways simultaneously. The Big Beautiful Bill is not helpful to America. It's just not. It'll get rid of some immigrants. You like that. But you're going to literally chop off part of your face to do that. In the form of Medicaid, Medicare, if you fall on your back and need food stamps and things like that. It's like you got an immigrant on your back that you want to get off. So you pull out your pocket knife, reach behind yourself, and you start shanking at it. You're hitting the immigrant, but you're cutting yourself all in the fucking neck and everything too. That's what you're doing. So yeah, it'll give it. There's some things in it you like, but you're gonna hurt yourself to get those things. So anyhow, I do gotta move on for the night. I do appreciate you folks. I didn't get to thank you for the likes on TikTok because it went down, but I'm going to ask that you folks politely give your boy a sub if you enjoy the content from all sides of the aisle. Despite my political leanings, which are somewhat left, I don't hate everything about Trump either. I am MAGA friendly. Been MAGA friendly all 4-5 years we've been doing this. So when you're MAGA, you can come on the program and say whatever the hell you want, even if it's critical of the host. And there's no concern of being blocked, banned, or censored because somebody don't like your speech. That we don't do that here. So if you enjoy free speech from all sides of the aisle, I'll ask you to do your boy a solid. Give me a subscription if you're watching on YouTube. Follow the program if you're watching on TikTok. And until then, you guys all stay safe. I'll see you tomorrow night. It's your boy Tim, the Handsome Liberal. I gotta go. Good night.